What's up, guys? It's Wolverine, Death Machine, Mr. GMSI himself, Brian Cage, and you're watching Tru Heel Heat. Who better? Nobody.
Rob Van Dam, listening to Tru Heel Heat. Pow.
Yo, what up? You know what it is. It's your boy AJ Francis reporting to you live from New York City, the birthplace of hip-hop. And I'm telling you that I'm only tuned in with Tru Heel Heat Wrestling. Holla at me.
What's going on, everybody? This is your former AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Once a champion, always a champion. Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve's house. You're watching Tru Heel Heat podcast.
It is me. You know the rest. We're going to start off the show the proper way because it's the Saturday morning cookout, the Tru Heel Heat flagship podcast. Talk about a crazy week in pro wrestling with Rey Fenix accusing AEW of inhumane treatment. And what a year to do that, because it's 2024 and not even famed Illuminati enthusiast Jay-Z can end a year without a scandal. So let's hit the intro. Hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. We are live on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, or YouTube and Twitch for Tru Heel Heat 307. Pettiness gonna petty, even for the lucha, or drama abound, all elites. We are here to discuss the latest wrestling news, including Rey Fenix accusing AEW of inhumane treatment in the latest AEW drama. We got WWE stacking up the Raw Netflix debut with CM Punk's first Raw match in 11 years against Seth Rollins, reportedly, and Roman Reigns challenging Solo Sikoa to Tribal Combat made official. TNA re-signs Chrissy Love's favorite person to rant about, Miss Tessa Blanchard, reintroducing her at Final Resolution, and controversy around it, of course. Recap of this week in wrestling with AEW Dynamite Winter is coming, featuring the return of the real Toni Storm. You also had Collision last Saturday, Kyle Fletcher beating Okada in the C2. Rampage Winter is coming last night with the reportedly appalling decision to have Toni Storm's return match on Rampage. ROH TV, WWE SmackDown featuring the Saturday night's main event Go Home, Raw featuring the New Day getting massive heat, the NXT Deadline featuring Oba Femi's return with a win in the Men's Iron Survivor, NXT, NJPW World Tag League, TNA had Impact and Final Resolution, plus we got final prediction for Saturday night's main event, and of course, she's back, y'all. Just 1 week off, and it's that time of the year. Chrissy Loves got the Christmas tree, so I got to check my notes. I have to buy a Christmas hat for next week's show. I got to do that now because
Amazon or go to Dollar Tree. One of the little discounted stores you probably got up in the Bronx. You'll find one right away. I mean, my tree is up. It ain't got shit on there, but it's there.
You don't got the wrestlers and stuff yet. The wrestling essentials.
It'll be there by next. You'll see it next week. I mean, the tree's been here. It's been up since Thanksgiving. It's just been here.
So I'll have the Santa hat next week. You'll have more of the decor next week.
You have the wrestlers ready to go. Got it.
There we go. And of course, we got the good brother himself, the True Draw himself. Josh, how are you feeling?
Not too good. Had a rough week. Yeah, my job didn't get me a doctor that I needed. So
this guy. It's that week for the Hispanics to complain about that. It seems. I don't know.
I do got something like Christmas related. So yesterday I actually went to a Christmas con, my first one that I attended, and I was able to pick up a mug. Look.
Oh, nice.
Gingerbread mug.
Nice. Christmas con? I've never heard of that.
Yeah. It's been around for 5 years, apparently. I've been hearing about it. So I decided yesterday to attend a couple weeks ago. And it was a fun experience. Very like Christmassy. Huh?
Is it like SantaCon? Like, what is the gist of the whole thing?
No. It's not like SantaCon at all. It's more like a convention. If you usually go to like an actual convention, it's Christmas related. So people that have booths, they're selling like Christmas related stuff. Look, SP3 got the sweater. Look, SP3 got the sweater.
Hey, you filthy animal.
Now I feel better. Now I feel in the spirit. I feel in the spirit. We all have something Christmas related involved.
I'm gonna wear my sweater next week. I got a Cobra Kai Christmas sweater, so I'm gonna wear that one.
Okay.
Oh my God! See, you know what we need to do next year for Tru Heel Heat? We need to do a Secret Santa.
Okay, and send the person a gift.
Yep. Of course, it has to be from Amazon, so you can put someone's address in and stuff like that. We'll organize it. I did one with Wrestle Talk this year, so that's what we need to do. True.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm here for
that'd be cool.
But yes, let's
wear ugly sweaters next time, so we have to coordinate.
Yes, we'll have coordinated weeks on the lead up to Christmas. We'll have an ugly sweater episode.
Hats one day.
Santa hats. Well, I always my tradition is to wear Santa hats until the end of the year. Usually,
yes, right. So you're late.
I am late. I just don't. It's my head and my hair. I'm gonna try to get a haircut today because I'm gonna go to Saturday night's main event. So
you're going nice. Good for you.
Got way too many grays, so I got to take the haircut. So
I didn't make it to the salon in time this morning. I didn't get up early, so hence that's why I look like the old lady next door. But yeah,
How many matches they got tonight? I heard it was 3.
5.
5?
3.
All right, so it's like a
it's like a PLE. Yeah,
so
it's 5 it's 5 match merchants.
I hate Nassau Coliseum though. Oh my god. Ugh.
Yeah. That's the only struggle I have.
Is someone ruined it. I feel like no. What's it? The World's End.
Traveling itself, like getting there is not the problem. It's getting to the arena that's the problem. Like if that makes any sense. Like getting to the area is easy, but to get into the arena
until they were like ready, it's like there's a long freaking line. It's just.
Yeah, like they don't even let you go past like the actual entrance. So then you have to make that long ass fucking walk. I hate it.
Oh boy.
Arena itself is okay. Like,
you're getting me so excited for tonight, guys. Thanks.
I mean, hey, you get to see KO win the title tonight. So we're gonna make up.
Yes. He's gonna hold up the winged eagle like another great Canadian, Bret the Hitman Hart, in the Nassau Coliseum. It's gonna be a beautiful sight. As a longtime Kevin Steen fan, I can't wait for it, even though I'd probably be asleep dreaming if I see that. But yes, we're going to talk all about Saturday night's main event. We got our final predictions for the show. At the end of the show, of course, we got a lot of news to discuss from AEW, WWE. We got some New Japan stuff to discuss as well. And of course, Chrissy Love. It's like you know, a dream content for us. It's Tessa Blanchard re-signing with TNA Wrestling. Feels like so long ago. It was back in 2020. All of this started with Tessa Blanchard, and anytime she's come up in the news, you have ranted, and now she's going to be in the news. It seems for a while because she has reemerged from being canceled. Chrissy Love, how happy are you?
Are we gonna do this today? This is how I feel. That's what they want to be associated with fuckboys. That's their business. I will not participate in such fuckery. So thank you.
TNA was having such a great year.
They were. The girls, the women's division. I'm saying the girls division. The women's division was like, it's on fire, and you guys must be really fucking desperate.
For no reason. For no reason, by the way.
You guys were doing very well. You didn't. There's no need for her. Maybe she came crawling with her legs, but you know, the tail between her legs. I don't know. I hope they didn't give her a bag neither. Oh God.
Probably did. But you gotta understand from TNA standpoint, you know, they're gonna lose a lot of talent at the end of this year. So they had to bring some talent in. She's one of the bigger names that was still available. And you know, I think what we've learned from like the last couple of years, we kind of have to, when we're especially when us talking about wrestling on like a podcast like this, you have to find the balance of saying, yeah, this person may be good at wrestling, but they're an awful person. And we see a lot of that in wrestling now.
Yes, there are a lot of awful people there. Yes. However, this particular person felt the need and, you know, haven't hit it.
Yeah. Yeah, because the only way you can come back from being canceled is accepting what you did, taking responsibility, taking accountability, and moving forward. She's never even did it. So you guys condone fuckery. This is true. Yes, the best response to Tessa Blanchard re-signing with TNA Wrestling had to be our good brother Romeo. We sometimes will troll him when he says ridiculous stuff in our chat. So I got to pick him up when he says something hilarious. And that I've been telling everybody. His response was, well, Trump's America is really bad. I have to keep reminding myself of these things. And, you know, the fact that they're starting Raw on January the 6th is a big thing. Yeah. And, you know, it's just a telling of a tale. I'm surprised. He might even be there. Who knows? They'll probably invite him to come. This is Trump's America. We just live in it. We're just living in it. We do have in the chat today Eric Isaacs, our recapper extraordinaire, who says, "Hey THH fam, happy Saturday night's main event day. Lots of returns this week in wrestling. Shotzi, Toni Storm, Braun Strowman, Tessa Blanchard, and maybe tonight Julia Hart and Charlotte Flair too." Yes, very interesting addition there.
Put Tessa in that, it's like it sounds
Yeah,
like so.
That was like a sneak.
No, yeah, I was like, why? Like that, like the fourth, like you trying to be slick with that? Like, come on, what are we doing?
Oh, but and our producer, yeah, we should mention, because I don't know if I have it in my notes when we talk about the topic. Tessa Blanchard. Apparently, there's been like a photo and everything with Tessa Blanchard mending fences with La Rosa Negra, who was kind of like the source of where this whole racist reputation for Tessa Blanchard started. They have mended fences. That is true, but as in the words of our producer's favorite wrestler, the apology needs to be as loud as the offense. When it becomes a public thing, you can't just settle it between y'all in private. You have to make it public. And every time she's having every time she's had an opportunity to talk publicly, she either has not wanted to talk about it or has not taken accountability for it.
That is a fact, friend. That is a fact. Unfortunately, bullshit.
But yeah, so we got Eric Isaac who says, "Hey TH." Oh yeah, we already read that one. But we do have our good brother Nicky Boy, Negro Buck Dick Jackson, who is now a member for 17 months. Let's go, Negro Buck. We appreciate your support as always. And he also sends us some love with a super chat donation. And we're sending love right back at him because he says, "Much love, y'all. Here's a little something for the pot in honor of me turning 26 tomorrow. Happy birthday, Negro Buck." And he says also, "Fuck Tessa Blanchard." Yes.
Wait, hold on.
Should have made that the title.
26. You think he turned like 17 or something?
That boy do look young. He do look young. He do look young out here. He do look young. We also got Negro Buck who lets us know. Thank you so much for the super chat donation. He says, "Honey, Home Alone is the best Christmas movie." Do y'all agree?
I agree.
I think it's one of
them. Yes, I agree. It's one of the best.
It's my personal favorite. So if I was to say it's the best, then I'm just being completely biased. But it's one of. I'll give him that. Like it's one of.
It might be the best, but my favorite is Home Alone 2 because I was a kid.
I would say so. Yeah.
I was a kid from New York. That was it for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Part two. I mean, part two was kind of just like kind of a ripoff of part one and like retrospect.
Totally.
But because it was in New York and we, like everything that they were hitting, like Central Park, the Twin Towers, rest in peace, Twin Towers. It was in it. Yeah, there was a lot of spots. They're at the plaza, like, I mean, you can't get more New York than that. Like, and they don't make movies like that like they used to because now everything is about what do you call it? Like permits and licensing. So a lot of movies kind of don't get shoot in New York unless they have the budget for it. So that was peak. That was peak cinema.
True story. Thanks for the love, Negro Buck. We gotta also show love here because we got another super chat donation from Negro Buck. He's like, he's like, I'm gonna spend some more though for us. Thank you for the love once again, Negro Buck. He says, "Yes, I am 17 in true draw years."
You see, I told you. I knew it.
There you go.
True draw years.
True draw years. We got Big Man Dogs who says, "I was thinking the same thing. Trump won and TNA was like, maybe the time is right."
The way you said it was kind of like TNA was skeptical. They're like, yeah, let's do it.
Let's pull the trigger.
Like we're losing Jordan Grace, we're losing Joe Hendry, we're losing Speedball Mike Bailey. Maybe the time is right. But Trump is in office. There you go.
Like, yeah. I mean, I got a lot to say. Well, when we get to it, I'll definitely say it. But man, that was kind of like, what the fuck? when I saw that last night.
We got Brandon Brown who says, "Who is worse, Hogan or Blanchard?"
Hogan.
You know what? Hogan. Yeah.
It's still Hogan, but it's like what she did doesn't still make it okay.
Still kind of neck and neck though.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the Hogan situation, obviously that was like a complete racist rant. So it's like I can't really defend that. With the whole Tessa thing, I think I know what it is. At the same time, it still doesn't justify how it was handled, right? Because I think that's where it kind of like blew up, right? It wasn't, I think a lot of people heard what she said and then, you know, they ran with it, right? But it was more the aftermath for me. It was how she handled it. That was what it was for me. And then also the shit that she did with TNA when they were at Impact and the belt. That was kind of like the last straw for me, at least. I was like, damn. And it's unfortunate because, you know, like the times that I have worked with Tessa, she was great. Like, you know, like she was great with me. You know, she was great with a lot of us. So that's why it was kind of like it was a difficult situation because it's like sometimes you just never know somebody until something big happens. And when you see how they handle stuff, to me, that kind of shows their character. And, you know, time to time, she's had multiple opportunities to acknowledge what happened and take accountability.
Take ownership.
And she's never done it. And, you know, it just is very troubling. And it kind of just tells me who she is.
Yeah, I think Hogan's worse. Terrence from Florida.
Yeah, we're all on the same page.
Yeah, Terrence from Florida. Not only is he a racist, he
ruined it.
A very open Trump supporter. So,
if you didn't know that, now you know.
Now you know. Now you know. You saw him at the rally. What you gonna do, brother, with Trumpomania? We also got in the chat with us another super chat donation. Thank you so much, Vala B. He says, shout out to our little baby boy, Nikki, turning 26. I love that. It's like our little baby boy, Nikki. He's bigger than all of us. We got Around the Point Network who throw in Home Alone 2 and Jingle All the Way. I rewatched Jingle All the Way actually recently and still hits. Still hits. Good stuff.
It hits because it's like so fucking goofy. Like that's why
it's so over the top. Yeah, it's so over the top.
It's so 90s. Goofy.
Who's in that movie?
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad.
Yes.
And Phil Hartman.
Rest in peace, Phil Hartman. Yes. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. We got Brandon Brown, who is once again a member of the channel. Thank you, Brandon Brown, for showing your support. You can hit the join button for $1 a month and get extra in-chat perks as well as exclusive content as well. And yes, Vala B, thank you so much. He says they're losing Josh Alexander too. So yeah,
damn.
Yeah, this it might look like a crazy move if you don't know all of that. That's why I mentioned that when I was going through everything. And Vala B, thank you for mentioning they're using Josh Alexander, Speedball Mike Bailey, Joe Hendry, Jordan Grace. Like, that's a lot of hits. I understand taking the risk.
They're all free agents.
They're all going to be free agents sometime in 2025. Joe Hendry is the one who has the longest. He's till the end of the year. So I think they may get finally the TNA world title run for him. But 2026, he'll probably be out. And he's already teased that he's going to be in the Royal Rumble this year. So, So here we go. We'll be talking more about that for sure, but let's get into everything. We got to shout out y'all across the way, everyone supporting us across social media with our Tru Heel roll call. Our top 3 conversation starters over on the Tru Heels group page on Facebook, our Tru Heel Trinity. You got Jermaine Packman once again, number 2, Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting, and number 1, Stewie Palmer. Our Patreon backers, Vala B, Alan Weinstein, Negro Buck, Nick Jackson, Alex McCarthy, Professor Chris, Trey, Robert Steve, Ladarius, John, aka Russell, Dan, Kobe, Dolores, John Martin, DJ Eric, Marcus Ryan, James Allen, and Santo. Thank you so much for supporting us over at patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content and the best place to support us when we are not live here. But of course, we got to get into what we missed this week, and we're going to start with AEW, with AEW Dynamite. Winter is coming on Wednesday, which had 594,000 viewers. They really haven't bounced back since NXT went head-to-head with them. They've really kind of just struggled to get above 600,000 since then. But the show did feature Mariah May defeating Mina Shirakawa in an enjoyable main event. Post-match, you had timeless Toni Storm in her OG rocker persona. No more timeless, but Toni Storm has returned to a huge pop to stare down with May from the stage. Thunder Rosa was in the front row reacting.
Right.
Well, Thunder Rosa did A+ with facial expressions on Wednesday. Glad to see.
Is that a joke?
Glad to see Toni Storm back on AEW television. You had week 3 of the AEW Continental Classic. It saw Will Ospreay defeat Claudio Castagnoli in an excellent encounter, while Ricochet teased a heel turn in a great match against Brody King in the Gold League. You got Ospreay, who will go up against Darby Allin next on the Holiday Bash next Wednesday, while Ricochet did also tease that he still has the MVP Hurt Syndicate business card. Brody King, on the other hand, he seems to be teasing that he's going to be babyface, as the crowd was way behind him and booing Ricochet at the end of the matchup. You also had Adam Cole beat Kyle O'Reilly in a pretty good match to move on to face MJF for the Dynamite Diamond Ring at AEW World's End. Speaking of World's End, the AEW World Champion Jon Moxley teamed up with Pack of the Death Riders to defeat Orange Cassidy and Jay White via disqualification after Hangman Adam Page attacked Moxley. This led to a post-match brawl between OC, Switchblade, and Hangman, which resulted in the Death Riders returning to the ring to beat down all three and stand tall. Later, Moxley issued the challenge to face all three men in a fatal four-way matchup coming up at World's End on December 28th. Chrissy Love, what did you think about this week's Winter is Coming edition of AEW Dynamite? Despite the struggles in TV ratings, this was the first time in what feels like a month or so they had two back-to-back good to great episodes, and I thought this one was very good.
Me too. I think they have to downgrade their settings of shows, of like amount of people that they bring. But overall, they're giving good product. I think this was a great episode. Like you said, it was back-to-back weeks of good episodes. Like I watched last week's episode, and it had great matches, and the ending was good. Like Thunder Rosa with the signs was like priceless. Like chef's kiss to the ending of like a show. It's like, was she there on purpose? And then it's like her face was just like, oh my God, like what's happening? But I think it was a really good show. They had great matches, and it flowed good. It was and it's been a kind of a while that they haven't had a good, like, consistent array of shows.
Yeah, we put up the video this week, a couple of weeks ago, when we were talking about the inconsistent creative for AEW. Got heat in the comments, so we were jumping the shark by even talking about such a thing. But it's a real thing, and that's why you got to. We were able to have nuanced conversations on this podcast that we can have AEW. It's been inconsistent because some weeks we say, man, I really didn't enjoy that one. And then we have weeks like this week where it's great. So we just want them to stay consistent, to give us an 8 out of 10, a 9 out of 10 AEW week instead of metering in like the 6.5 that we were getting from since post All In and stuff. Josh, what did you think about Winter is Coming?
It was a solid episode. The opening match was fine. And then, they finally made the announcement of the Fatal 4-Way. They did some good stuff, like tying in, like, trying to build up to World's End. The Continental Classic is, it's doing what it's doing. We're getting solid matches. In regards to that, kind of the discourse of it, it's kind of been hilarious. Like the outcry of like recently when Fletcher beat Okada. It was just like, guys, like, relax. Like, what are we doing here? Like, they're building up Fletcher for a reason. And you know, he technically didn't win, like, you know, he did cheat to win. So I mean, it's like, relax, guys. What they're doing with it this year, and I noticed it, was like what they didn't do last year was like they're having more surprise wins. And I think that's kind of elevating it because, you know, that's similar to the G1. And that's how you know a lot of people didn't watch the G1 when they're upset, like, oh, this person won, that person won. The G1 is textbook of fucking seeing surprise wins, right? Because it's about the match itself and it's about trying to get to where you're trying to get, right? That's what they've been doing. And I think like some of the wins have been like super surprising, like, you know, like Mark, you know, beating Dan Garcia was surprising, and that was a good match too. You know, and then Wednesday you had Ricochet win, which, you know, they're kind of teasing it, but I think they kind of did that because of the crowd reaction. Like, you know, people were getting behind Brody, and then all of a sudden, every time Ricochet got offense, they were booing him. Mm-hmm. You know, and I thought that kind of worked out well, and I thought the right person did win. You know, well, again, all the discourse of like, you know, Ricochet didn't beat this guy, everyone was complaining like, oh, he's back to being buried, you know, he's not doing nothing else. And I'm like, hey, he got a big win. And you know, he was showing off his new finisher too.
Whatever.
Yeah, he was showing off his new finisher as well.
And the little taunt he does is perfect as a heel. It doesn't work as a baby.
Yeah, you know, and it's like, again, the C2, I mean, it's doing what it's doing, right? We're getting solid matches, we're getting nice surprises. Sometimes you need that, like you need that, you know, like that surprise element, right? Because last year we really didn't get that. However, we had great matches, and then the whole payoff was Eddie Kingston. That's what made it fantastic, because Eddie Kingston came from the bottom. He was like one of the worst, and then he came from the bottom, worked his way up, and then ended up winning. This year they're kind of doing it more of a like, hey, this person could win this, and now it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, now you kind of don't know who's gonna win, because even though Fletcher's running away with it, it's like, is he really gonna win it? You never know. Right. And I actually like that aspect. I actually like that element because it keeps you, you know, it keeps you interested. Now I know like there's people like, you know, like Raj Giri who hated it. He's like, they need to get rid of the C2, but I'm like, bro, you don't even watch AEW, so why are you complaining about it? But it's like one of those things where it's like, you know, it's been working, right? And I so far, like the first two that they've had have, you know, they've been great, right? We've been getting great matches, and I think this is textbook AEW. We want great matches, right? And that's what they've been doing. This is kind of like what they've been doing. And, you know, overall, the rest of the show, I mean, it was good. And then, you know, seeing Toni Storm was great. I was kind of surprised that she got back to like her old look. I was a little surprised, but actually could do some wonders for her, right? Because I think one of the things for Toni Storm was that one of the things that you could criticize her for is that she really didn't have a character. Right, that was one of the main things. Like, she couldn't really talk. She didn't have a character. We knew that she was a badass chick who could wrestle. That was about it with Toni Storm. And then now, because she, you know, she elevated herself with a new gimmick, a new character, her going back could actually do something for this version of herself. So I mean, it's very interesting. I don't hate it. And also, she could still do like those like she kind of could do like I don't want to compare it to like Mick Foley, but kind of one of those things where she could like jump in and out, like
in and out of character. Yes,
that's
like,
a good point. Possible. I didn't think about it like that, because if you watch, we're gonna get into Rampage in a little bit. She's reverting back, like when she went for the hip attack on Harley Cameron, she did like this, like the timeless Toni Storm character, and then remembered she was like, Rock, and did the Rock.
But you should just do like probably one more character, and she would be great. It would be awesome.
And I think that's why it's good. Like I like, there was people who didn't like, but I was like, yo, like people are jumping the shark. But then also looking at the reaction she got. Look at the reaction. There were people were happy to see Toni in general. Like, and that's a good thing.
Like they missed
that. Yeah, like
she feels like the star of the division, the ace of the division, despite the contract that Mercedes Moné got, despite, you know, a lot of the limelight, the spotlight going to her, going to your Mariah Mays. Toni Storm is still the ace, the real ace. No matter how many times Sheeta will tell us she's the ace, Toni Storm is the real ace. She feels like one of the bigger success stories in AEW history, and probably their second success story ever in the women's division. It's Britt Baker and Toni Storm.
Yeah, because with Toni, she kind of really needed that, right? Because again, Toni, she was somebody who didn't really have a character. And then even when she came into AEW, it was great to see Toni, but then there was nothing like really significant going on for her. Like there was nothing like that was like kind of like getting out there, you know, and then she won like the interim title, but it felt like there was still stuff missing. And then once she got into this gimmick, I think that just completely changed everything. So right now she just has, you know, the balls in her court, like, you know, and I think she has a better mindset of things, and I think she's gonna do well.
I agree with you there. We do have another super chat donation. Thank you so much, Vala B, who says people don't get the idea of a tournament storyline versus match storyline. Yeah, you guys got to understand that there's ways of telling a story, and I feel like AEW on a lot better than WWE in terms of having match-to-match kind of stories within the matchup and how the stories play into the storyline. How the matches play into the storyline. I think that AEW needs to get better at focusing in on that style of storytelling, because they take a lot of kind of things from New Japan Pro Wrestling in different kind of ways, and especially with like the sports type of feel that they try to present sometimes. But they need to take the New Japan style of telling their storylines within matches more than angles and promos and stuff. They need to stick to the promos with the guys that can cut promos. Your MJFs, your Moxleys, your Darby Allins, your Eddie Kingstons, your Christian Cage, your Hangman Adam Pages. Like those type of guys can tell their story with their words, but not everyone. Will Ospreay's another one who does a great job at that with the promos, but not everyone in this company can do that with their promos, or should do that with their promos. Yes, I'm looking at you, Chris Jericho. He's a good talker, don't get me wrong, but he shouldn't, because there's not much there. But we got Power Driver Finisher who says, I get it, but stop with the Sheeta slander, SP3. It's not slander. I love Sheeta. I think she's one of the top 3, top 5 greatest AEW women's champions of all time. But every time she calls herself the ace, I'm like, I don't believe you. I'm sorry. I don't. Kind of felt like, we'll get into SmackDown a little bit later. Kind of felt like Jimmy Uso during that opening promo on SmackDown this week. It's like, I don't believe you, dog. You talking about everybody else in this group got success, and you talking about you going to get success next year? I was like, all right, Big Jim.
Sure.
Big Jim.
Let's get healthy first. We're overstepping our stuff. Like let's rehab and get better. And
they
then
just can't come with nothing better than Big Jim. Like that just sounds.
Big Jim.
It sounds like somebody in prison.
We also got another super chat donation. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries. Chuck Berry says, got to ask your opinion of this. Which Mercedes run has more credibility? Has been more credible? New Japan Pro Wrestling or AEW? It's definitely New Japan. She feels like more of a star whenever she's in New Japan, and putting her in the main event goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she did less talking than New Japan.
She doesn't have to be there week to week. She just shows up for a show once a month. She feels like a star. She's presented like a star. She usually is against someone from Stardom who is really good at the professional wrestling, and they have a good to great matchup. So she can walk out and then come back, and she's still at the same level or even higher now. Like, she doesn't have to be on television week to week and book her character within a television product. I think it's different.
Yeah, for the most part, you give valid points. The less you do, the better the product is. I guess it's true when they say less. Less is good, or most, or whatever. However they say it.
Less is more.
There you go. Less is more.
Frantic Rail says Toni Storm got Rockstar, the Outcast, and Timeless versions she can tap into. So yeah, she has her 3 faces of Toni. There we go. We're gonna see the 3 faces of Toni. What we won't be seeing anytime soon, at least I think, is Rey Fenix in AEW. Rey Fenix has not been seen on AEW TV since July 20th episode of AEW Collision, and fans are not happy about his absence. It's believed that AEW added more time onto his contract due to injury, which means he did not become a free agent when his brother Penta El Zero Miedo did at the beginning of the month. However, AEW still hasn't used Fenix on TV, even while he's under contract. A fan took to Twitter to call out AEW for this, which prompted a response from Fenix on Sunday. The fan wrote, AEW not using Rey Fenix is fucking wrong. WWE sells out almost every arena they go to. They're doing the best business they have ever done. What the hell does Tony Khan think will happen if the Lucha Bros go there? WWE isn't being hurt by this at all. The only one being affected is Fenix, and he's the innocent party in all of this. Fenix replied,
supposedly,
and Fenix replied, and I quote, I will have my chance to speak the truth. Rey Fenix then sent out another tweet, another post tweeting, mentioning inhumane treatment. It's unknown if he's referring to AEW or something else, but he wrote, no one stays in a place where they received inhumane treatment. On Monday, Rey Fenix continued to post cryptic messages on Twitter, this time claiming that he was ignored for months when he needed medical attention. He wrote, I needed a doctor, and you ignored me for months. Fightful Select reports that they have reached out for comment from AEW, both via message and in person, and were told that they would not comment, with another source saying they could not comment on medical claims. According to the report, several sources in AEW have expressed surprise by Fenix's tweets. And even considering that the two sides are not seeing eye to eye, one source acknowledged that there have been communication issues between the two sides, but had not heard of anything that would be considered, quote unquote, inhumane, and had not spoke to Fenix about the matter. That source said that Fenix took issue at one point with a doctor who had not cleared him, though the context isn't known. Fenix has not responded to requests for comment. Another source in AEW said they were familiar with the situation and said the claims were not true. That source said that AEW has been obsessed about the word that the Lucha Bros had talks with WWE when they had time remaining on their contract, and believed that reports that AEW weren't upset by it was someone trying to babyface themselves on the matter. Penta is a free agent currently, while Fenix is under contract into 2025 due to injury time being added to his deal. Both men are heavy in demand, and as of now, Fenix's status with AEW is up in the air. Some in AEW had indicated to Fightful last week that they may give Fenix an earlier release, but there's been no update on that. And one source suggested that they believed almost any outcome to the matter will set an unfortunate precedent. It was also reported that Rey Fenix reportedly has up to a year left on his deal. Finally, on Wednesday, Fenix deleted his tweets about the inhumane treatment and the doctors not seeing him. He did still leave up his speaking the truth tweet. And he also did earlier this week respond to Dr. Chris Featherstone, who will be mentioned a lot throughout this podcast. Dr. Chris mentioned that he had heard from a source close to the Lucha Bros who said that when Fenix does get their release, they will have their time to speak their truth, and when they do, it's gonna get ugly. And Rey Fenix said that this the whole tweet, which is a longer tweet, I'll look it up here if there's any more information we need to add. He said that this is the most accurate statement in regards to his situation, what Dr. Chris Featherstone tweeted out. So start with you, Miss Chrissy Love. What do you think about all of this drama concerning Rey Fenix? And it's a lot.
Now I understand what Josh was saying at the opening this morning, earlier today. But I swear I cannot stand when people have some type of quarrel or like disagreement or like some anger, and then they go and they start getting really finger happy, Twitter happy. Their fingers just type away, and no one says, you know what? Do you read it over? Do you look it over and then they delete the tweets afterwards or whatever? Like after, like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. No, you shouldn't have did it in the first place. Like if you know you have all these quarrels and all these things, speak to them about it. Go to your lawyers, like figure it out. Now, yes, maybe you're doing this because they're not doing that. Okay, great. Stay at home, wait for your release, collect your funds. You ain't got to work anyway, but you're still getting paid. It's win-win. In this Trump's America.
Yeah, but Big Man Doug is absolutely right. Phoenix is trying to get fired here. He is. It's pretty obvious.
He wants to go with his brother. He's ready to go.
Yeah, he's ready to go. His brother's out, so he wants to get out of his contract.
All right, well, just let him go.
So what Dr. Chris Featherstone tweeted, he said, I received information from an AEW source on November 20th regarding the Lucha Bros status, but did not report it as I was waiting for one of them to begin speaking their mind about the situation. I was told that was coming. I was also told that day that Penta's contract was soon ending with AEW. Rey Fenix did just that, spoke his mind. So here is some intel I received. The alleged excuse that Tony Khan found out about the Lucha Bros being in talks with WWE is quote unquote fake news, and the real reason will be revealed. There is a real story behind the situation with Rey Fenix, which is a huge injustice. Expect the Lucha Bros to go more in depth about their time in AEW when they are free and clear to do so. And when they do, it is going to be ugly. And Rey Fenix said, unfortunately, due to contractual issues, I cannot speak now, but I will have my time.
Well,
there you have it. Josh, what do you think about this entire Rey Fenix situation and how all the sides are handling it?
I mean, in regards to everything, first and foremost, SRS has made it clear that it does do with the WWE stuff, and I think he was asked about it several times, and he's like, no, it's the WWE stuff. So obviously there's a big disconnect when it comes to that, right?
No, it's not. It's pretty clear what Dr. Chris Featherstone tweeted out. He's tweeting out what the Lucha Bros side is saying.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a big disconnect, as in, like, this person is saying this, and then they're saying, like, no, that's not what happened. This is what's going on, right? So obviously people are going to run with the narrative of whatever they want to run with, right? That's why it makes the whole situation even uglier, because it's like, obviously there's a truth, and we're probably never going to know the actual truth. But I do believe that it has to do with, you guys fucked up. You guys try to talk to another company while being under contract, and this is just the consequences of being caught, right? Now we could sit here and say, like, oh, you know, Phoenix didn't do nothing. At the same time, if Penta is representing his brother and this is what's going on, and, you know, you guys were still talking to WWE and you were trying to get a contract, then that's just what it is. I mean, you got caught and you got to face the consequences to that, right? I mean, I never liked time being added for a talent, right? I've always kind of been against that, because I'm like, if a person doesn't want to be there, just let them go, right? I'm always in the belief of that. However, in this situation, it's a little bit different, because it's like, you got caught doing something basically illegal, and the company could fucking sue you for that, technically. So they're doing you a favor of putting you, like, they're adding time to your contract, and you're still getting paid, right? Maybe he wants to work. People, you know, wrestlers want to work. People want to perform, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But when you do something you're not supposed to do, you know, this is just the consequences to that. And in regards to, like, his comments about Inhumane, I think what it is, I think with Phoenix, and I noticed this with Spanish culture, right? Me being Hispanic, I think what it is I believe he probably used the term in the wrong way. I think that's what it is. I don't think it's what he really meant, like inhumane, because inhumane, I mean, we could go down the list of what inhumane is, And the way AEW has kind of, you know, quote unquote treated him, I mean, bro, they paid for your medical bills when you got injured several times, and they still paid you. They paid you to go to rehab and to come back. That doesn't sound inhumane to me, you know. And it's just what I think me personally, I think he used it in the wrong term, but it doesn't make him look any better for using that. And then for me, what bothers me about Fenix in this situation is that, you know, he went on an Instagram live not so long ago and he said he doesn't want people to create negativity, right? He wants people, you know, basically telling people to like, hey, you know, my time will come, you know, just, you know, it's going to take time. I don't want people to create a story, create a narrative, create drama, create all this stuff, right? This is from his words. This is from an actual video, him speaking Spanish from a video, telling everybody not to create negativity. And then what does he do? He creates negativity with his tweets, with his responses. And then, you know, when somebody makes that tweet, that guy, he makes a tweet, he says, you know, unfortunately, due to this, I can't comment. But then I was like, bro, you already commented the day before. Like, you made the comment of the place being inhumane. And then you make another tweet saying that you were waiting for a doctor, and basically they never contacted you, or they never, whatever the case may be. So it's like, you just contradicted yourself. You just told people not to create negativity, but then here you are, you're creating negativity because you're letting, especially on the Twitter space, you're letting all these fucking grifters jump on it, like to make AEW look completely more in the wrong, when it's like, no, it's the other way around. Fenix looks worse in this situation because you keep opening your fucking mouth. And it's like, it's not making your situation better, right? Now people are saying, hey, just let him go. Let's let him go. You know, I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, when you do what he did, that's basically what he wants. He wants to be let go. Like, and you're not going to get what you want for the way that you're doing it. That's just what it comes down to. So, I mean, like, if you let him go, guess what? That's basically what you want. Like, that's what he wants. And he's trying to do that. He's trying to push pressure on the company to let him go. So far, it hasn't been working because he fucking deleted his tweets. So it's like, whatever he's trying to do, I mean, again, it doesn't make him look any better. And the way that AEW has handled it, I mean, they haven't commented on anything. You know, they're doing the corporate move. They're doing, you know, what they have to do. Like, you know, they're not acknowledging it. They're just kind of moving forward on the situation. And in regards to like the whole doctor thing, it's very conflicting. It's very complicated because I have heard stories of like that AEW basically allows the talent to find their own doctor, to find their own thing, and then they basically pay for it. That's what I've been told, and I've been told this several times. Then you also have other talents who have spoken, like, you know, like about the treatment they've gotten from AEW when it comes to their injuries. Example, Bandito, last year he had 2 surgeries, and he legit said, you know, shout out to AEW and Tony Khan for being, you know, being supportive and, you know, basically handling everything and taking care of his family. This is what Bandito said himself. Like, so again, we always hear different stories. Maybe there's something deeper between Lucha Bros, Fenix, you know, all of them, and AEW. I know there's a big disconnect because I know Lucha Bros have felt some type of way because of the whole CMLL treatment. You know, like every time CMLL was on, Lucha Bros couldn't be on. Every time New Japan was on, Lucha Bros couldn't be on. I think that's a legit beef. I think that's problematic. I think that's something to be upset about, right? Because you want to work, and it's like you're treating these guys over us.
I think it's that combined with the fact that they made them work in CMLL. They worked Reno, Mexico with the Death Triangle versus 3 guys. I think they did like a trios match over there right before all this shit started. It was like right before all this shit started. That happened. And they really haven't been on AEW television since.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's like, you know, we're people, you know, like, and then all this stuff about like being unjustified. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's like, it's so many fucking things, and it's one of those things where Fenix just didn't do himself any favors, and he just created more of a mess of something that I really wish I had a better understanding of, to say like, "Yay, bro, I side with you because it's fucked up." At the same time, you're not doing yourself any favors, man. At least for me, like, you know. And then even when the first report came out the first time about the whole, "Hey, you're in talks with WWE," I was like on the boat of like, well, unfortunately, you fucked up. You did something you weren't supposed to do. You fucked up. And then now it's more like, yeah, bro, like now you're just being. Now I'm like, now, bro, like the way I felt, now you're justifying how I felt about it, and it's fucked up because I like Fenix. But it's again, and then even if they do speak, right? Even if Penta and Fenix do speak, they're gonna tell their side of things, and it's one of those things where it's like they could be lying, we don't know. They could be wanting to shift how they want to make themselves look, but at the same time, the Lucha Bros, more so Penta, has had the reputation of trying to do certain things to get out of his contracts, and sometimes it's not always the best thing. And you know, doesn't make Penta a bad person, because I like Penta. He's one of the best people I've ever met in the wrestling business, but he kind of does have the reputation of trying to do some shit like this, some tactic to get out of deals. And you know, Fenix is trying to do it. You could tell Fenix is not used to it, but so far that shit ain't working for him.
I think everybody in this situation looks horrible. I mean, of course, Fenix is not handling the situation great. But I can understand if he's never been in this type of situation. This is the first kind of major company that he's ever signed for. So I understand his nativity as it comes to these type of situations. Penta, he handled it horribly as well, because he was opening his mouth way too much and telling a whole bunch of people
so early
to tell, and too early. Too early with months on your contract. And then Conan has really been the meddler of all of this. And we do have a super chat donation from Vala B. Thank you so much, Vala B, for the support. Once again, you guys are killing it today. We appreciate that for the holiday season. Yep. Merry Christmas. He says, to be honest, this stinks of Conan meddling. I just don't know how. I think that Conan has basically said how he's been involved in here. He's their manager, guys, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know, but Conan is the Lucha Bros, effectively working as the Lucha Bros manager. I don't know if there's legal documents making him their manager, but he works as their manager. Their deal with AEW was worked through Conan. Their deal with MLW was worked through Conan. Their deal with TNA was worked through Conan. And he's had his fingerprints all over this entire situation since the first rumor came out.
Yeah. He's been open about it.
Yes.
He's been completely open about it. And, you know, again, that's why it's such this situation. Again, it would be so easy to side with the Lucha Bros because of their gripe. But at the same time, it's like, you guys just handled it. You fucked up because you thought this was another ring-a-ding company that was gonna like just lay down, do what you demanded, and it didn't work. Like it doesn't work that way, especially in America. You could probably do it with a company down in Mexico. You could do it with another smaller company. You know, obviously with MLW, that's a different story, because MLW, they had contracts, but there was a bunch of loopholes in those contracts to get out of. And I'm pretty sure they weren't paying you good money when it comes to MLW. So that shit you could get away with. Can't get away with it in AEW. AEW is paying not only big money, but, you know, they're worth $2 billion. So, I mean, did you really think this was going to go well? You know, and we could all point out what AEW is doing wrong too, and how they've handled it. But at the same time, I
was going to get into that. AEW has handled this whole situation horribly, because it's too often that the decision making of Tony Khan just comes off as pettiness. We talked about it with the whole Ricky Stark situation. We've talked about with numerous different stars, whether it be your scapegoat Jack Perry, or, you know, people involved in getting into beef with CM Punk. Like, these type of things happen way too often and it never comes off as a astute, well thought out business decision. It comes off as someone making a decision on emotion, not on what's right for their business. And right now for AEW, with the state of where they're at and they're being down this year, going, closing out 2024, going into 2025, they have not had a good run of business, basically. I mean, business-wise for their pay-per-views, I'm the one been on this show for multiple weeks this year talking about that's the only part of their business that has done well, because TV ratings are down. The attendance is down. They're going to have to make this switch to the smaller buildings. They're readjusting some things. It's a kind of like a rebuild, a restructuring period for AEW. You don't need bad PR. That's all this situation is. On top of the whole situation with Ricky Starks and GCW, which we got more news of that this week. Like, all this drama is not what AEW needs right now.
Yeah. And that's why it's, again, like, it's one of those
unfortunate. Yeah,
like it's one of those things where, like, in this situation with like the Lucha Bros, right? Like, say like if we take that out, right? Because I think with the whole Ricky situation, that I side with Ricky a lot more, because I'm like, he ain't doing nothing wrong, bro. Ain't doing nothing wrong. And that's just, and this situation is like, well, you guys fucked up and you did this. You weren't supposed to do it. It kind of reminds me like a situation at work where I would say that you might have some legit grievances with management and how they've done certain things, right? But the moment you start fucking up, say like if you go up to your manager and you curse him out, guess what? That shit goes out the window. Whatever grievances people have, that goes out the window because you handled it wrong. And it's like, that's how I see it in this situation where, AEW, they have fault to it. At the same time, I'm like, bro, all the leverage you guys had, it could have had in your pocket, instead of just waiting, you could have just waited. They could have been in WWE right now, right? They easily could have been in WWE right now. Instead, Conan opened his mouth, and Penta was open on another podcast talking about it. You guys fucked up, and it's like,
talk too much. They just can't just let.
A few months. You could have just shut the fuck up for a few months, and this would have never been a problem. And then because even if you sign with WWE and then you talk your shit and you say, hey, we've been in the, guess what? It's not going to matter because you're already there. Like, you're already at the place you want to be at. And then you decide to just not like understand how contracts in United States work or how contracts work in general. You thought you could talk your shit and then just get out of it. You guys found out the worst way.
Fucked around and found out. But speaking of more AEW drama, Willie Mack is in the news because of AEW drama. Who would have thought in 2024? But in another chapter of the AEW,
I was gonna say who?
But the AEW and GCW saga, a rumor emerged earlier this week that AEW pulled wrestler Willie Mack, who was under contract to AEW and ROH, from his weekend GCW dates per Fightful Select. At the time the report emerged, GCW and owner Brett Lauderdale were under the impression Mack was pulled over Effie's recent comments. Additionally, Fightful Select also reports that GCW was told that AR Fox was advised not to appear on camera while visiting GCW this weekend. Fightful later reported that numerous individuals in AEW denied pulling Mack from the dates. However, another anonymous source claimed that Mack was encouraged by AEW Talent Relations not to take GCW bookings anymore. Dave Meltzer also reported on the topic on Tuesday's Wrestling Observer Radio. Meltzer reported that GCW was initially called up by Mack, who said he was pulled from the show by AEW over the Effie comments. Lauderdale later called AEW Sanjay Dutt, who works in talent relations, and asks him if that it was true. Dutt reportedly denied the allegation. Lauderdale reportedly called up Mack for clarification, and Mack said that he wasn't actually pulled, but AEW's Christopher Daniels allegedly made it clear to Mack that he shouldn't go to this weekend's GCW event. So at the moment, AEW is denying that Mack was pulled from the shows. Meltzer also reported that Mack called AEW and asked if it was a problem if he went to the event, and it said that AEW gave Mack permission to go. It's unknown if Mack was pressured or not, or decided not to work the shows on his own. Willie Mack was previously scheduled to face Sidney Akeem on Saturday.
That's Reggie?
Yeah, Reggie, Sidney Akeem. Yeah.
Got it.
He was supposed to verse him at the Highest in the Room 3 event, which is tonight. He was also supposed to be on last night's show as well for GCW, but he was pulled. I just don't understand Tony Khan. Like, if you have all this stuff going on and you're trying to run a company, you're also trying to run another brand in Ring of Honor. You're also whatever your job title is for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You're the owner of the Fulham Football Club. Like, why do you need all this drama? I think you have enough on your plate, sir. I think that you should work toward solving one of your issues. Because at this point, the whole Lucha Bros situation is freaking building up to be a fucking Eiffel Tower in front of you. Like, you keep getting these certain situations like cut bait. That's why I think I'm more critical even on the Lucha Bros situation on Tony Khan and AEW than I am on the Lucha Bros. Yes, the Lucha Bros handle it horribly, but Tony Khan and AEW doesn't need this drama at all. They don't need this GCW drama. They don't need this Lucha Bros drama. And the whole EGCW situation is one of their own doing. All of this has to do with AEW and their decision-making that comes off as very emotional and petty. This whole situation seems like people don't know which way to go and what to blame who to point the finger at. But it's all a situation that is a domino effect of the Ricky Starks situation. Because I don't think Willie Mack would even find the need to ask AEW, are you sure it's okay? If he's already been booked for the shows, he's already asked. So he went back to ask because this whole Ricky Starks situation is so much of a big deal that he had to ask. And that's what started this whole thing with Willie Mack feeling like he needed to be pulled.
So because he felt this way, now he's being penalized. Is that what you're saying in a long story short, SP?
He's being penalized. GCW fans are being penalized. It's the same situation as the Ricky Starks thing.
Okay. Because I spoke up and I said something. Now I'm in trouble, and now I can't even go to the other places to get this little extra cash that I'm supposed to be getting because AEW wants Tony Khan wants to be like an asshole.
Basically.
Got it.
Well, they still get paid for it. But...
They don't
get paid by GCW.
Right.
No, not by GCW, by AEW itself.
Right, but
I don't think so unless they book him.
What happened?
Unless they pull him to book him for a show. I don't know if he gets he'd get his regular contract, but he was going to get his regular contract anyway with the money that GCW would have gave him. So I understand what Chrissy's saying, that you're penalizing him. He's losing money. If he's under contract, they're not giving him money to replace the GCW, pulling him from GCW, unless they're booking him on one of those shows, on one of their shows, which there's no guarantee because we saw the Ricky Starks situation.
Right. So again,
that also depends on how they actually get paid when it comes to, because I know like Impact, for example, like when TNA does like independent bookings, they're technically getting paid by TNA when they do those bookings.
So, but in this case scenario, I don't think that's how it is. I think they're getting paid.
I'm not too sure. Yeah, I'm not too sure about it. I know I know a little bit. But with how AEW does it, I'm not 100% sure. So I don't want to speak out of term of anything. In regards to that, I just think Christopher Daniels didn't make the situation better. Like, why the fuck did you say something about I don't think you should be going, bro? And he's a catalyst of the whole right? Isn't he talent relations?
Yeah.
And I think he's been doing a terrible job at that. It's bro, why did you tell Willie that? Willie's barely used on AEW TV. Why did you tell him you don't think it's a good idea? And then now you put that doubt in that man's head. I think that's what it was. I think Christopher Daniels put doubt.
I can't
head.
even blame Christopher Daniels because you have to understand it's a domino effect. It's like, where did the dominoes start? We have to go back to the start of this whole thing. Christopher Daniels wouldn't have felt the need to even say that. Like, I don't know if it's a good idea. If Tony Khan wasn't so emotional, but also,
yeah, but then there's also his job to make that clear. Like, don't make a thought. Your talent relations, bro. You have to make that clear. Like, you can have a thought and then tell, but it's like, bro, you need to know this shit. Like, you need to know. And why didn't you just talk to the boss, your boss, to find out instead of just giving him a thought? That's his title. He has to do that. That's his title.
I think that everything the buck stops and starts with Tony Khan. I feel like Christopher Daniels would not even feel the need to even say that I don't know if that's a good idea or whatever he told Willie Mack. If Tony Khan wasn't so emotionally invested in this whole situation.
I mean, I get it, but at the same, again, like, it's one of those things where it's like you can have a thought, but it's like, bro, like, you have a title, like, you have a big title yourself. So you have to fucking know these things to yourself. Like, you have to. But
if he says yes, and then Willie Mack shows up on GCW, and
no, but that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Chris should have gone to TK himself to get clarification. Get clarification from your boss to see what's going on. Don't put a thought out there. Like, don't make it a thought and then you run with it, and then it's like, what the fuck did you just do? Because I deal with it at work all the time where the manager will be unsure of something, and then I have to tell him myself, hey, well, can you ask the regional manager this is something that he wants to do? Because don't run with the narrative of doing something and then it falls on you when shit goes left. Like, is your title. You got to do it. You have a big title. You got to do it.
We got Myron Kidd in the chat who says Tony Khan is basically Vince McMahon without the sexual stuff. Petty as hell.
You know what?
Well, I mean, Trip is petty too, but that's a different story for another day.
We got Tony I'm gonna call him Tony KK, who says Penta El Zero Mero is at AAA for a moment. Yes, he reemerged at AAA this past weekend, so he'll be working there for a little bit, probably the interlude before Fenix gets his contract expires with AEW, and then they can both go to WWE.
So I mean, hey, you're gonna be there for a year, I guess.
That's crazy as a year.
I think honestly, I don't think he's gonna last a year. I think if Fenix lays low, I think he's eventually gonna get his let go. He just
I would hope so.
I think he just needs to lay low, just shut the fuck up, don't tweet nothing fucking stupid, and then there's some kind of agreement. I know, like this dude, right? The founder of Fightful, he did speak about it himself, and then he was talking about like how he would make Ray sign an NDA and then all this stuff. But I'm like, bro,
that's what, like, bro. I've said this on other platform this week. I was like, this all ends with him signing an NDA if he wants to get out of his deal early.
Yeah, like, and I was like,
your back, you scratch mine, you don't ever mention this shit again.
Yeah, and I'm like, they should do that. Yeah, I'm like, and they should do that. I'm like, if that's on the table, I don't know. And then if Fenix says no, he's not signing one, then he's just gonna keep sitting at home. And it's like, it's unfortunate. I'm like, that's the best way to do it. It's like, bro, you want to get out. And then also, I mean, at the end of the day, bro, it's like, it's your story. Whatever happened with you is not gonna. You're gonna go to WWE. It's not gonna mean anything because you're in WWE. You got what you wanted. So that's the bigger picture of how I see it with Fenix. It's like, bro, you want to get out now. Sometimes you got to do things that you don't want to do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to bite the bullet. And if your true intentions is to go to WWE, you got to do some things you might not agree with, and just to get out of it.
We got Power Driver Finisher. He says it's a crappy sit, but I think TK is finally putting his foot down. Some things we're not going to agree with. I think that it's still somehow a learning process. Yeah, it's all of this is a learning experience for him. He's never been through these type of situations, so he's learning.
And I do say this has to do. I could be wrong. I think that has to do with the Punk and Ariel conversation, because ever since then, that's where it's like all of a sudden it feels like he's been a boss, because he got called out publicly of trying to be people's friends and not being a boss. Ever since then, he's been trying to be a boss, and yeah, I think
that's a great point. That's actually, I didn't even think about that. You're absolutely right. Like, you're gonna call me on my shit. Maybe I gotta like do some self-reflecting. I'm like, maybe I am too much trying to be everyone's friend and the cool dad and not being the boss. And I have to like put things into perspective and try to work a little bit better and manage things properly, or get a team that can manage it for me.
Big Man Dog saying, honestly, few would care about these issues if Dynamite was popping out 9 out of 10 episodes. Fix the show and you can be as penny as you want. I would blindly defend Tony. Yes, I feel like a lot of faults in AEW have stood out more in these periods when they've had like inconsistent creative or people are down on their product. It makes these backstage drama more amplified.
True.
So
Very
you got to fix the show. You got to fix the show. And yeah. You'd be like, I would have been like, after all of this drama and stuff, I would have been like, well, at least the shows have been good. At least the product's still good. At least it's still the best show this week. And winter is coming. Like we all said, it was a good show. I think I gave it an 8 out of 10 on AE Ramble. But this is the drama is outweighing the good on the product at this point.
Yeah.
But yes, Valerie says the negative feedback loop. And we also got YKK who says Lucha Bros should have did like Cody, Jade, and Andrade. Shut the fuck up and wait for your contract to run out.
Well, I mean, Andrade kind of didn't really do that himself. He was doing his little things, but
he realized after he had the snuff of Sammy, he was like, maybe I should just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, like, he didn't go nuclear, and I think a lot of people wanted to punch Sammy, so that's why it was kind of like, yeah, probably Sammy deserved it regardless, and I think it just didn't really do him favors in regard to like, yes, I'm gonna get fired. Well, nobody likes Sammy, so. Yeah, he got what he deserved.
People were like, "Our hero!" Yeah, we want Andrade to stay forever.
You're like the guy that they picked up and celebrated, and he's like, no, like, no, this is not what I wanted.
He's like, I wanted to be the bad guy. I chose the wrong guy. During Monday's AEW All In Texas countdown event, AEW President Tony Khan announced that the show will stream live on Max. He did not note whether or not the event will be included with the cost of the service or similar to how ESPN Plus runs UFC events. Also, the wrestling fan convention StarCast is on its way back as it will return for AEW All In Texas weekend. It will be back on July 12th, which Conrad Thompson announced.
That's Conrad,
yeah. During the countdown special on Monday. The first StarCast happened ahead of the first All In back in 2018. The last one was held back in April, coinciding with WrestleMania. Meanwhile, Bryan Danielson made his first appearance for AEW since WrestleDream losing the AEW World Championship at the AEW All In Texas countdown to on sale event. Where he gave an update on his future. He said that he will be at All In Texas, although he doesn't know if he'll wrestle at the event. He added that he's not sure if he'll ever wrestle again. Danielson's last match was at WrestleDream in October, where he lost to Jon Moxley for the AEW World Title. In the weeks leading up to the matchup, he noted that his neck injuries were severe, and he wasn't sure about his future. In another supposed retired AEW star, Sting made a surprise appearance at the AEW All In Texas countdown event and made a bold prediction about Darby Allin. He said, I've always known from day one you are world championship caliber. I knew from the very beginning.
Sting to stop doing his paint like that. Sorry.
You had to come up some, and you've come up a ton in the last few years. But I knew that you would someday become the world heavyweight champion. Sometime in 2025, I am predicting this is the future AEW world champion right there. Who knows? Maybe you'll be world champion at Globe Life 2025 at All In. And finally, in a recent interview with the Battleground podcast, Tony Khan talked about how the ticket sales are doing well for All In Texas following the on sale. He said All In, the big stadium show, the first time anybody in America since the 90s has attempted to do a stadium show in America. No other wrestling company, any alternative wrestling company has tried this. It hasn't been tried in a long time. I think probably since WCW ran the Georgia Dome, I believe. I think is going to be a great success for us. The general tickets go on sale on Monday. The pre-sale is open now, so you can look for the code and get into the pre-sale. Try to beat the rush on Monday and be part of this pre-sale that's open now. We've already sold over $1 million worth of tickets for All In, and those VIP packages went greatly. So AEW is doing once again good as far as this start to the sale for AEW All In. And Sting predicting that Darby Allin is going to be world champion. Welcome to the bandwagon, Sting. I've been predicting that for a while too. But let's talk about AEW Collision, which was last Saturday, which saw the finishing up of week 2 of the Continental Classic. You had Kyle Fletcher defeating Kazuchika Okada in a great match to get 3 straight wins and 3 more points in the Blue League. While over in the Blue League, you also had Mark Briscoe pulled off an upset win over the TNT champion Daniel Garcia in a tremendous main event in the Blue League of the Continental Classic. Meanwhile, Darby Allin beat Commander in a fabulous opener in the Gold League of the C2. Willow Nightingale picked up a win over Serena Deeb to advance in the Wrestle Dynasty International Women's Cup qualifier tournament. So she's going to the Tokyo Dome with a win tonight against Jamie Hayter. And then finally, you had Jon Moxley and the Death Riders put out a death sentence on Orange Cassidy. It led to Orange coming out defiantly, approaching the Death Riders, which led to all of them jumping Orange. They attempted to kill him by pouring some chemicals down his throat, but it was FTR to make the save for OC against the Death Riders. Then last night you had Rampage. Winter is coming. The show featured Powerhouse Hobbs, Mark Davis beating the Don Callis families, Lance Archer, and AEW International Champion Konosuke Takeshita in a solid main event. Post-match, Takeshita tried to attack Hobbs, but Hobbs got the better of him and hit the spine buster to close the show. And Timeless Toni Storm, no more. She was in action as well. Before that, you had Matt Cardona picked up a win against Brian Keith, getting momentum ahead of Final Battle. And like I said, the OG Toni Storm was in action, made her in-ring return or re-debut. We'll find out on the Collision what that's about, to defeat Harley Cameron. So that brings us to some news about Rampage last night. In a move that was surprising to many fans, it was soon revealed that formerly Timeless, I'm going to keep calling her Timeless, formerly Timeless Toni Storm's return match would take place on last night's Rampage, despite the fact that the Friday night show is coming to a close. Typically brings in abysmal ratings. Speaking on Friday's Wrestling Observer Live, Brian Alvarez revealed that fans weren't the only ones shocked by the decision. He said, and I quote, "Do you know how many people I talked to in AEW yesterday? And every last single one of them were, what's the word? Appalled that Toni Storm's return is on Rampage." While Alvarez noticed some fans defending the move, the podcast host was adamant that it would have made more sense to build to Storm's return match on an episode of Dynamite, AEW Collision, or the upcoming AEW World's End pay-per-view. Though many personnel within AEW reportedly agree with that perspective, it wasn't enough to change the mind of the company's CEO and booker. He said, "You could have had 200 people lined up outside of Tony Khan's door last night. One by one, all 200 of them could have gone in there and said, 'This idea is stupid.' And do you want to know what would have happened at the end of the show? He would have still done it, because that's what happens. People argue things with him every single week, and at the end of the day, he does whatever he wants." It feels very reminiscent. We had the comment in the chat, but it feels very reminiscent of what Alvarez and Wrestling Observer Radio used to say about Vince McMahon. Now, I'm not too aghast or appalled by the decision to have Toni Storm's return match on Rampage.
It's probably to have people watch Rampage. There's not a lot of people watching Rampage on a Friday.
I mean,
even though the show is coming to a close, you wanted to have good ratings on the way out. It looks better for you on the way out. But I will say personally, you know, it could be part of this story that they're building, because I did read the spoilers for tonight's Raw Collision, so we'll get more answers on tonight's show when she wrestles again. But that's not the decision I would have made as Booker. I think that Toni Storm needs to be treated as one of your main stars, one of your faces.
Yeah.
You would not have Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Mercedes Moné. She ain't gonna be on there to make her return match after being away for 4 months. Every other major woman star in professional wrestling in the top 2 companies, pretty much, because AEW really only has 2 of them that they really position that way, even though they got the Willow Nightingales, the Chris Statlanders, they got a bunch of talent, Thunder Rosa, all of these women are so talented that they should be presented as stars, but they presented 2 women as stars in this year, in 2024, and 1 as a rising star. Mariah May is a rising star, but the 2 main stars are Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm. Over in WWE, there's Becky Lynch, there's Charlotte Flair, there's Rhea Ripley. None of these women would have had their return matchup. If it's WWE, they ain't having their return match on Main Event. They having their return match on Speed. So, yes, it is a decision that makes me baffled. If I'm backstage and I hear that's the plan, I'm too much of a wrestling fan. I'm too much of a fan of Toni Storm that I would have to go to Tony Khan and just say, fuck it, I'm losing my job today. Tony, you shouldn't be doing this shit. Let's wait till Collision. At least Collision is your second big show. It's your B show, but you can follow up on stuff. Put it on Rampage. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I think 2 things could be true. I think, yeah, I get it. Yeah, she probably should have been on Dynamite, right? Her return match should have been on Dynamite. At the same time, I just don't think it's like, I don't know, the reaction to it. It's just like, I mean, she faced Harley Cameron at least. Like,
don't do Harley like that.
no, I'm not doing Harley like that. You know, kudos to her. I mean, me and Sid have praised the work that she's done herself.
Yeah, she's been doing.
But at the same time, it's like, you know, there's a pecking order. Like, obviously, like if you was to put Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné on Rampage, then that's like nuclear. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
It's like, right? That's something you don't fucking do. But I don't know. It's like, was I upset about it as a fan? No. Was I like, her return should have been a Collision, like her return match should have been a Collision and Dynamite? Yes. But I mean, what happened, and you know, Rampage is out the door. So I mean, you want to have some kind of like decor when it comes to that, because the Rampage before that was actually really good. That was actually one of the best
of the year.
Yeah, so it was like, you know, and you had Okada on that, and yet nobody was bitching about that, right?
Because it was in a tournament, and he's not returning.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's not returning, but it's the whole aspect of using Okada there, because people the next night bitched that he lost to Kyle Fletcher. So it's like you gotta pick and choose your battles, I guess. But I don't know. It didn't upset me. I was just like, oh, that's the move. Okay. It made me watch Rampage, so it worked.
I mean, yeah, I guess that was the whole point. If it made one person watch Rampage, I guess that's enough. But I just wouldn't have made that decision.
Yeah,
I would have said something if that decision was being made. But talking about,
I think 2 things. I think 2 things could be true, right? I think like, yeah, sure, but then I was like, it's on Rampage. I get it because it's there is being discontinued, but you want to have some kind of like at least good run before it finishes up. I get it. It's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, it's not the worst thing. Right? It's like, right. At least we got Tony back.
Well, you had your if you're gonna have this as your world champ soon, you've had Darby on there, you've had John on there, you've had all of these people on this show, so I don't see what's the big deal. I guess it's her because it's her debut one. Yes, she could have
her return match. Like you could have done that on the January 1st, the January 1st Dynamite, the debut on Max. Like, come on, I'm just saying. Like,
okay, all valid points, friend. All valid points.
To each its own. As far as Collision, I thought Collision was one of the another really good episode and a run of good episodes for Collision, and I like the fact they did it in that smaller arena at Complex Con. It looked good. It sounded good. I felt like Collision was the end of the first like really good week of AEW television that we've gotten since like All In.
Oh yeah, Galaxy Con. Yeah, I forgot about that. They were doing that at Galaxy Con. That was actually a good venue.
Last week's AEW Dynamite was good. Last week's Rampage was the best episode of the year. And then Collision was very good to great. Like it had 3 great matches. Like all 3 of those matches, spoiler alert, are going to be on my matches of the week from the C2 on last Saturday.
Yeah. So. You remember how Tony Schiavone got excited that Corbin Burson was there? I actually got to meet him yesterday too at Christmas Con, so that was pretty cool.
Sweet. That's dope. Speaking of the C2, Commander is reportedly earning high marks in AEW for his work in the Continental Classic. Fightful Select reports that the AEW star has been getting positive marks in general of late, but particularly earned positive reviews for his matches in the tournament. The report also notes that AEW Collision was a big adjustment and involved changes for people backstage. With the event going well, several talent at Galaxy Con, including Britt Baker, didn't appear on Collision. I think we got to keep our eye on the whole Britt Baker situation because this is like the second or third time this year she's had matches and then disappeared. I don't know what's up with that. It's weird. As previously reported, Luchasaurus was recently hospitalized due to getting pneumonia on both of his lungs and blood oxygen below 80%. He was said to be days away from permanent lung damage. The Wrestling Observer newsletter and F41 Online's Brian Alvarez report that Luchasaurus is said to be doing, quote unquote, much better and is working on making a return to the ring. The masked AEW star gives credit to Tony Khan and the AEW medical staff for being patient with him and telling him to stay home a week before he collapsed. He believes that this saved his life. So there's a good story to end off the week for AEW. But we got to finish off the Converse with ROH TV. The show featured Athena beating Red Velvet, Layla Hirsch, and Billy Starks to advance in the International Women's Cup 4-Way Finals at Wrestle Dynasty on January 5th. The grizzled young veterans defeated MXM Collection to retain the NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships. Shout outs to the GYV. I got to chat with them this week for Sports Illustrated. Dustin Rhodes cut a passionate promo ahead of his double Texas Bull Rope matchup alongside Sammy Guevara against the Righteous at Final Battle. Paul White announced that Jay Lethal will face QT Marshall at Final Battle. Lee Moriarty picked up a win over Matt Taven in a solid main event to retain the ROH Pure Championship, while Matt Cardona and Chris Jericho signed the contract for their ROH World Title match at Final Battle, which ended with Cardona driving Jericho through a table. This was the most nothing happening contract signing I've seen in quite some time. Just want to let everyone know that. They said some things and I was like, yep, this feud has nothing to it. There was no thought process to this feud. They were just like, Matt Cardona is a name that will help us sell tickets for Final Battle. Here we are.
Matt Cardona's getting a check, friends. Book me.
I'm not mad at anyone's back. I'm happy for Matt Cardona. But
it was a petty move. That's all why he's there. We just say it. It was a petty move.
Hey,
Right.
as long as someone's going to eat because of it, I'm happy for Curtis.
Yeah, I got no problems with it.
If his wife don't win, he gotta lose. So it is what it is.
A soul for a soul. We got WWE SmackDown this week. We move on over to WWE with Friday Night SmackDown. The show featured Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens' final words before Saturday night's main event, where KO told Cody, no matter how many titles or shows he headlines, he will never be as interesting as Stardust. This led to Cody going backstage, where Owens played a trap and attacked Rhodes. A brawl broke out back in the ring, where KO took advantage of officials holding back Cody to hit him with the undisputed WWE title belt. He stood tall to end the show and looks to tease that he could become the new WWE champion tonight at Saturday night's main event. You also had Michin picked up an upset win over Tiffany Stratton in the semifinals of the WWE Women's United States Championship Tournament.
Don't do that.
Meanwhile, Chelsea Green pulled off. Chelsea Green pulled off another upset win as well over Bayley for both Michin and Green to move on to tonight's WWE Women's United States Championship Tournament final at Saturday night's main event. Nick Aldis was about to strip Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill of the WWE Women's Tag Team titles until Naomi stepped up to be a replacement. They defend the titles next week against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Braun Strowman made his return from injury as the first star to move brands in the transfer window to defeat Carmelo Hayes in a 2-minute bout, dominated him. Solo Sikoa came up a little bit short to LA Knight via disqualification after Jacob Fatu attacked Knight. Post-match, Andrade and Apollo Crews tried to make the save for LA, but the bloodline overwhelmed them to stand tall. And then you also had, speaking of the bloodline, Roman Reigns sent a pre-taped promo where he went off on his difficult 2024 for himself, losing his title, his wise man, then his bloodline, but he will get what belongs to him, starting with the Ula Fala when he challenges Solo Sikoa to a tribal combat match on the January 6th Netflix premiere of Raw. Chrissy Love, what did you think about SmackDown last night, the go home to tonight's Saturday night's main event?
SmackDown was pretty decent. I'm not gonna. I was really, really excited and happy for Chelsea Green. I was popping in my house. I was like, yes, well deserved. I hope she definitely wins. She should win. I think she deserves it. She's done so much since she's come back. She turned lemon into lemonade. So I definitely think that she's the one that should be the first inaugural one to win. I'm sorry, Michin, you have to now sit back again.
It happens.
But you've been on TV like every week, though, girl. Like, this
you're getting the TV time.
This is the most you've been on TV since you've been with the company.
Yeah,
And
I forgot to mention. The stupid group. I forgot to mention that Jimmy Uso cut that promo at the beginning of the show. I tried to forget.
We don't need to talk about that.
He did get Claymored by Drew McIntyre. That's why.
That was the best part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
To write him off for right now because you clearly can't, So that was the best part of the whole promo. I was like, why is he out here? And he's like, oh, you got the wrong brother. I was like, we can't even take you serious, bro. Like I need you to
be. And the crowd, the fans didn't react to it. They were playing can reaction during this promo. It's not a good look. Not a good look. You're in the bloodline, bro. Like the only time you get a reaction is when they talk about your family.
Yeah, you don't. You're the twin that doesn't exist. Sorry.
Poor guy.
Nobody remembers
Josh,
you. Except
any thoughts on SmackDown this week?
Yeah, poor Michin. Cause man, she got not only everyone was chanting we want Tiffy. Then that finish was awful. Like
with Tiffany.
Yeah,
with Michin not being able to roll out the way.
Yeah, she was supposed to roll out of the moonsault, and Tiffany still hit it, but then they tried to pretend like nothing happened, and she still won the match.
You know,
she down bad, and she won the match, but she down bad because man, that was
she's going to the finals.
I mean, she's going to the finals, but she's not winning.
Event.
But she's not winning. She clearly not winning. There's no way she's winning after that reaction last night. That's definitely not the right fucking move to do. So, I mean, yeah, she won, but it's like
Chelsea must win.
Like, you know, it's kind of like a bad baseball team winning the wild card game, but it's like that's probably it. You ain't gonna win the next round. That's probably as far as you're gonna get, bro. That's unfortunate. I mean, but after that, I mean, overall, SmackDown was fine. It was a solid episode. Jimmy, I don't know, like he was just talking too much. It was too much for me, like a minute too long. It was like, bro, why are you talking? And then trying to put this big Jim shit. It's like, bro, what? Like, stop.
Like, you don't even believe this stuff.
And then he got Claymore, then that was the best part. So, yeah.
It really was.
This is a good shout, though. Call Me Miss Sabanda says younger siblings are usually the better wrestlers in brother tag teams, if you've noticed throughout history. Steiner Brothers, Scott is better. Hardy's, Jeff is better.
Yes.
Usos, Jay is better. That's a good shout. That's a good show. I got to think of more brother tag teams, but those are the three that came to my head.
Came to your mind right away. Yes.
Myron Kidd says booking Tiffany to lose after what she wore last night should be a crime. A plus for the outfit, but
she should have saved it for next week's show. But next week's show is taped, so it's whatever.
Yeah, that's why. And she's probably not wrestling.
Why are they taping next week? Because it's the 20th.
It's weird. Like, I was like, why didn't you tape next week for the 27th?
Right. It's like, so you're going to make them work after fucking Christmas. Dumb.
No, because they're doing the Christmas tour anyway. So it's like they're still going to be working. So it doesn't.
I mean, I guess.
It's just one of those things where it's like, even if you do this or that, they're still gonna be working, so it don't matter.
Like, they ain't got no time off like that. Y'all got Miss Chris. Like, get some at least get Christmas.
Remember, the following week they're doing the garden show. They're doing the MSG holiday shows.
So
they're gonna be right back here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dustin says Jeff Hart. He adds Nick Jackson and Rey Fenix as well. That's also true. Those are also true. Those are also the better brothers as well. So this seems like a good argument. Seems like a good argument. All right. Even though we had,
I guess you guys got something going because it's all the younger siblings.
Yep. Despite I liked SmackDown last night, but didn't love it. It was okay.
It was okay.
It was like a 6.5, 7 out of 10 show.
Yeah, it was like a watchable show.
That's the usual though.
I would say overall between SmackDown and Raw this week, it was an effective go home shows. It did get you hyped for Saturday night's main event. On the other hand, there wasn't a lot of wrestling on these wrestling shows as well. So it's a give and take. It's a give and take, it seems. In a post on Twitter talking about SmackDown, we got to move over to Raw though. Chris Featherstone of Sportskeeda reports that the main event has been set for the first Raw on Netflix, which airs on January 6th. According to the report, it will be CM Punk versus Seth freaking Rollins. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that WWE sources have confirmed that is the current plan as of now. Featherstone also noted that Roman Reigns will have a match on that episode, which was made official on last night's SmackDown, with Roman announcing he will face Solo Sikoa in a tribal combat match on the Raw Netflix premiere. Josh, I'll ask you first. What are your thoughts on WWE putting two huge matches, which a couple of months back, we were on this show talking about these two matches possibly being at WrestleMania 41. These two matches, Roman and Solo, Punk and Rollins, on the Netflix Raw premiere. What do you think, Josh?
It's understandable. Netflix is a big deal. And also, we're at a point when it comes to Raw that we kind of got to get out of that TV mindset because it's streaming. So they're going to put big matches. They're going to get more people to watch.
Blood.
You know, so, I mean, I get it. You know, Seth, I thought Seth and Punk would be more on like a Mania more than Roman versus Solo.
A big pay-per-view, not a regular show.
Yeah, you know, like that's what I thought.
Royal Rumble something.
But I think this is a good spot for Roman and Solo because I really didn't want to see that at WrestleMania. So that's good they're doing it now. So, and then also with Punk and Rollins, you know, with Punk and Rollins, honestly, I think at first, like, you know, at the beginning of the year, it was like, oh shit, this is something that's like, it could be good. But then as time has gone by, I'm less interested, and their interactions have been like, you know, they've been solid, either to like mid to solid, but nothing like, it's nothing crazy for me. Like, I'm like, oh, they're gonna build up for 4 months and have a match of Mania.
It seems like their interactions peaked on their first interaction.
Same, same. Because after that, honestly, the kind of the feud that they have is like once it peaks, well, what else can you really do? Like, yeah, we know the beef. Right. Yeah, like no, yeah, Seth is upset that Punk left. Okay, what the fucking do? What do you go from there? You know what I mean? You're gonna build that up for 4 months. You're gonna build that up for 4 months. Like that's kind of boring, right? And in regards to like Punk and like Roman, that's more of a WrestleMania match because you know they don't need nothing on the line. That could headline one of the nights, right? And also there's a big story between them, right? You know they're gonna fight over Paul Heyman. Hopefully he's not on the pole. So that's a more prominent match in my opinion. Honestly, like I think Seth and Punk will probably be the best working match.
Right.
But when it comes to like storyline, storytelling, that's more Roman Reigns' alley. I think that between him and Roman Reigns, I think that's a better road to go down. So having these matches at Raw for Netflix, I'm on board for it. You need it to be a big deal, and this is the best possible way to do it without you know shooting too many bullets. So I think it's fine.
Chrissy, when I ask you, do you think WWE is making a mistake by it seemingly seems like they're moving the Punk and Rollins matchup from WrestleMania to the Raw on Netflix? Do you think they're rushing it in any way? Because I do agree with Josh's point. It feels like the peak of the Punk and Rollins situation was at WrestleMania 40. Like it was still hot when they did the promo in Chicago. It was still hot even going into SummerSlam, even coming out of SummerSlam. But that long layoff between their first interactions a couple of weeks ago and SummerSlam, I think has cooled this off. It's time for these guys to fight. It's regardless of if you wanted to do it at WrestleMania, they needed to do their first fight on this Netflix show.
Yes, I feel like this needs to be the first one. They can do just like how he did it with Cody. Remember he met Cody three times?
Yeah.
So it could be a series of 3. But yes, you have to make it happen now because like no one's gonna care anymore, and they're not gonna believe it. I know they do hate each other, but I don't think people are really gonna be like vested into like the whole story of like, all right, they're just putting these guys together just because, you know what I'm saying? Like they have to like the flame was starting to fizzle. Like you know how you like you put a candle out and it start to have like the flame is like almost like not even there anymore. You can't even smell the candle no more. So you gotta
don't even got no scent anymore.
Honestly, that's the best way to describe it. That's the best way to describe it because because even like when it comes to like the promo battle, honestly, like Punk didn't have his best line until like that player number 1 line until like that shit he said on Monday. Like that was like his best line within like the back and forth between them. But then anything besides that is kind of like I'm just not as interested, you know? And then even if it happened at Mania last year, that was a nice little 3-4 month buildup. And then now it's kind of like, since it never happened, now we're at month number 11. It's like, okay, you're still upset that he left and he's been back for a fucking year. Like,
no,
get over it.
Actually, this week's Monday Night Raw made 1 year since their first interaction after Punk returned.
That's true. That's true. No, you're right.
So there you go. So now you have the whole thing where we can have this fight at the beginning of the year, and we probably can play it out till Mania now if we do get that.
Yeah,
it's a series. You can definitely easily get it there.
And they're doing an event in Stamford, Connecticut to kind of commemorate the Raw on Netflix move coming up this week. So we'll have details on that probably next week's show. A new report has a rumor regarding plans for the inaugural winner of the WWE Women's United States Championship. The tournament to crown the first champion concludes tonight at Saturday night's main event, with the winners of the semifinals on SmackDown moving on to battle for the title on the Saturday special. According to Dr. Chris Featherstone, once again of Sportskeeda, the current plan is to have Chelsea Green emerge from the finals with a victory and the championship. You know, that brings a smile to me and Chrissy Love. Me and Chrissy Love. Woo, woo. We are Chelsea train next week. Next week. So you got next week, more Christmas stuff. And next week, me and Chrissy Love going to be celebrating Chelsea Green, our first ever women's U.S. champion.
Well deserved, friend. Well deserved. She's going to be great. I already know it. It's going to be a problem. She's going to have she's going to get on Nick Aldis' pure nerves.
I represent America. I represent America. WWE
make her as Trump as possible.
Also released a special YouTube video where Triple H grants Cody Rhodes a special gift for Saturday night's main event, which is believed to be the return of the WWE Winged Eagle World Title belt for one night only. Fightful Select has a report with more details on decisions of reviving the classic Winged Eagle belt. Per the report, WWE has had discussions about the classic title belt's return. Cody Rhodes has pushed for the idea. He's openly spoken about it in the past that he wants to see the belt make its return, going back to when he first came back to WWE in 2022. Earlier in September, Rhodes also said he was actively working on bringing back the classic title belt to WWE. Additionally, Fightful Select reports that multiple talents have spoken about bringing back classic title belts, and Cody is said to be the most vocal. Also, this has reportedly been a contributing factor to why the WWE tag team titles have a more classic look and style. Meanwhile, the new WWE World Tag Team title belts were designed as a homage to the big gold world title belt with new WWE branding, which Fightful notes has been important to WWE. The branding and having celebrities branding official WWE replica titles has also been a successful marketing strategy by the WWE. The classic WWE Winged Eagle title belt first debuted in 1988 and was utilized until early 1998 during the Attitude Era. We'll get to see the special gift Triple H granted to Cody Rhodes this Saturday on Saturday night's main event. Undisputed WWE champion, of course, Cody Rhodes will defend against Kevin Owens. Of course, Triple H says that the old school gift is for one night only, suggesting that it won't be sticking around following this weekend's event. What do you guys think about the Winged Eagle title coming back for one night only? I say screw one night only. This title is superior to the WWE Championship.
You need it forever. I don't think one night is enough. We should have it around for a little while.
I totally agree.
Keep
you
it
agree,
around.
Josh?
Best title.
It is.
I agree.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Such a pretty belt. Such a pretty belt.
That's when stuff start getting messed up when they start changing shit.
Very true. And then finally, last bit of Saturday night's main event news. PW Insider reports that the original plan for Saturday night's main event tonight was to finish the Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed feud. This would have concluded a final match to end a trilogy. However, Reed suffered a broken foot at Survivor Series. That's why Drew McIntyre was rushed back and placed into a feud with Sami Zayn. Also, Roman Reigns has been advertised locally for the show on the Nassau Coliseum website, but that was changed this week. The website now only lists what has been announced. Reigns was also removed from the WWE.com talent listing. Seth Rollins and Bianca Belair were also previously advertised, but no longer. So, yeah, sad for Bronson Reed. It sounds like due to the injury, he is going to miss WrestleMania. He got his surgery on Wednesday. WWE is his ankle. He broke his ankle. So he got surgery this week, and the report, I believe it was by PW Insider, is that he will miss WrestleMania 41.
Like, that's so, like, yo,
biggest push of it. We said last week, me and Josh, it was like the theme for last week was untimely injuries.
And it's so sad because the three guys in that match, 3 guys got injured on that match. It's unfortunate. And it was the best match on the fucking card. Anyway, whatever. With that being said, Bronson has had the most, he could have easily become a champion, like for Mania. So, like he could, like I could have seen him being champion. Easy.
He was going to get a big push in the Royal Rumble at the very least. Yeah.
It sucks, man. It sucks. And he was just on.
Remember Triple H said in the conference, he's going to be out a couple of weeks. Good job, bro. You're a great doctor.
Stick to your day job, Paul. Stick to your job reading GPSs, Paul. Come on. But WWE Raw this week, they did 1.386 million viewers. The show featured The New Day getting one of the biggest heel reactions that we have ever seen in quite some time after turning on Big E. When they tried to explain their actions, they were booed out the building. Gunther and Damian Priest got into a physical confrontation with Finn Balor and the Judgment Day. Balor stood tall at the end, which led to Raw General Manager Adam Pearce announcing that Gunther will defend the World Heavyweight title against Priest and Balor at Saturday night's main event. Liv Morgan defeated Dakota Kai in singles action. Post-match, Pure Fusion Collective attacked Kai until Damage Control made the save. However, Io Sky was laid out with the Oblivion by Liv Morgan. Later in the show, Rhea Ripley beat Raquel Rodriguez in an Anything Goes main event after Io fought off interference from Liv. The show closed with Rhea and Io holding the WWE Women's World Championship. Lyra Valkyria moved on in the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship tournament with a victory over Ivy Now and Zelina Vega. Drew McIntyre led off a pair of 3 very effective promos on this episode of Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre explained his actions against Sami Zayn and Jey Uso by saying that they sold out for absolutely nothing, while Elise Punk took a bribe to help Roman Reigns in the men's War Games match. So he's here to right some more wrongs. Second, CM Punk had a sit-down interview where he went off over his past with Seth Rollins and called Seth Rollins a second stringer while he's the starter. And now Seth has to sit on the bench. And then third, we had Seth Rollins respond by stating the facts that Punk stopped being his friend and ghosted him after leaving WWE and only came back for a payday, which this crowd that only cares, doesn't care about people who only love money, cheered CM Punk. Sami Zayn interrupted Rollins to say he will stay out of his business with Punk before challenging Drew McIntyre for Saturday night's main event. McIntyre attacked Zayn afterwards to lay him out before the event. What did you think about Monday Night Raw this week? We'll start with you, Josh.
Raw was okay. The New Day stuff was great. The crowd reaction, Xavier taking the camera, something that he's used to.
Really good.
it's not the first time he's recorded some fuckery. You know, so it was actually really good.
I don't appreciate that reference. I'm a Saraya fan.
Nah, but I mean, it was a good reaction because it was just, and then the way that they're acting too, they're surprised and they're like,
yeah, they're surprised everyone is so mad at them. Like, I low-key honestly surprised at how the things turned out. As far as them like being like low-key, like really surprised and like why everyone is upset with them. But it's kind of give like the Dom effect where now it's just like, we're gonna boo you so much that you can't even get through the damn promo and you're going to leave.
But Dom was a culmination of so many stuff. It wasn't Dom turns heel on Rey and then gets the type of reaction.
No, I know, but like
it literally was Dom turns on Rey, then he continuously turns down Rey when he tries to make things better for a couple of months. Then they do the whole Thanksgiving and Christmas thing, and that's the thing that really got him the big reactions. But this is instantly. This is better. This is better than Dom Heat to me.
Yeah, and I
because
think
it feels more genuine and it feels like it's money generating.
Yeah.
Like now you have a cool act
yeah.
that you can put in main events and in the tag team titles.
Yeah, and you know it's funny. I was gonna say that because I think the difference, right? And when people are like, every time I see people saying, "Oh yeah, Dom's a great heel," but usually when I ask somebody like, "What makes him a great heel?" Oh, because he gets booed. But I'm like, "But what does he do that he gets booed?" Like I was like, "But what does he do that he gets booed?" And they can't even really answer. I was like, "Why?" Because it's more of like it's more of a rib at this point. Like they're just booing him to boo him. It's more of a rib, and you know he's not really doing anything at the moment to like really generate that heat. Yeah, he left.
That's why he got Dirty Dom chance last week. Against
Gunther. And it's like you know like and it's like it's one of those things where I'm like now it's just you know when people say oh he's great because he has heat, but I'm like but that's a rib. I'm like at least with New Day or like even if I go as far as like Don Callis, right? They're getting booed because of their fucking actions. They did shit that people generally don't like. That's why they're getting the heat that they're getting. To me, that's a good heel. Like that's a good heel thing because I'm like, you did something that pissed people off, and now you're getting booed out of the fucking building, you know. And then also they did all that shit without even laying a hand on Big E, so it worked. Everything to the T worked, and they got booed out of the building. And then besides that, I mean, Raw, again, Raw was okay, but it was like main event was Rhea and Raquel. Well, I mean, I didn't have no real interest.
And Rhea dominated the whole freaking match.
Yeah, I was like, all right, cool. Like,
so you believe you mean to tell me this person that has like had a broken nose that was wearing a mask for like 2 weeks that you may come back to work?
Audible bone.
Whatever it was.
Yeah, I think of the eye, right? The eye thing, right? It was the orbital.
She now can wrestle with no issues and is beating the hell out of other people.
Yeah, they did the whole angle last week where she threw her into the table and then never followed up on it throughout this match. So that was weird. Like, and then this Raw, like I said before, it did not have a lot of wrestling on it. This was an angle Raw, but it felt like a more effective go home show Raw.
Yeah, sometimes that's all you really need for go home shows, and I think that's kind of what they've been lacking on is go home shows. And I thought like SmackDown and Raw, they were decent enough for at least to do something for Saturday Night main event. But like it wasn't too just crazy on the wrestling. Like that's just about it.
Charlotte Flair is back in the news, y'all. She could be returning to WWE TV soon, according to a new rumor. Flair has been out of action since she suffered a torn ACL, MCL, and meniscus in December 2023 during a match on SmackDown. The WrestleVotes Twitter account posted an update on Thursday noting that Flair's return is imminent, according to sources. The report notes that there is a chance Flair's return could happen as soon as this weekend, Saturday night's main event special on NBC, and that creative was directed earlier this week to structure the presentation of her return. As of now, the report is not confirmed. Saturday night's main event has 2 women's matches set, with Liv Morgan defending the WWE Women's World Championship against Io Sky and the finals of the WWE Women's United States Championship tournament. So should be interesting if they decide to bring her back tonight. But let's play what we played with Becky Lynch a couple of weeks ago. We predicted or came up with our best option for Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 41. Chrissy Love, we'll start with you. Who do you want to see face Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 41? Or who do you think faces Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 41?
Let's go. Is this for like a title or anything, or just in general, just to have a match?
I mean, if you won or you think that it's gonna be a non-title match, you could do that. That's fair. I think myself, I'll go with my prediction first. I think that it should be Charlotte Flair as a heel challenging Tiffany Stratton as a babyface for the WWE Women's Championship.
Okay, I like that. Now, how do we? Okay, well, clearly the stuff with Nia Jax is definitely going to make the people like be on Tiffy's side. Got it. So she'll be a face. So we go against old Charlotte Flair against new Charlotte Flair.
Basically.
Carbon copy, because she's definitely just like a little.
She's more athletic. She's more agile.
Yes,
than Charlotte Flair.
She does the moonsault off the top rope better than Charlotte has ever done ever in her life.
1000%.
Sorry, Charlotte. I love you, but I'm just telling you how it is. Okay, so for me, I'm gonna say I think Naomi and Charlotte.
Naomi and Charlotte. That's an interesting one. Dion
Last time
Jenkins
they fought very well, and I think that they had a great match. This could be something good. I don't know how we're gonna get there, but yeah.
No, you gotta figure out the story. What's the story?
Well, okay, so then that's not the story. Okay, so we have to think of a story, like how did Charlotte get here? Who injured Charlotte?
It was Asuka that she injured herself against, but Asuka's not.
Asuka ain't nowhere near around here. So, but we gotta have Charlotte as a heel. Damn.
You don't have to. You could bring her back as a babyface. She's gonna get a babyface.
She's better as a heel, though.
Yes, I agree. That's why I put mine.
As a heel. Like
you could just steal mine or agree with mine. That's fine.
I'm gonna agree with yours then. Fine. We don't need Bianca and Charlotte. I mean, yeah, we don't need them. Like it's sorry, Dion, but that's just
Dion thinks it's Bianca and Charlotte. That has been a plan for WrestleMania for years now. Josh, what do you think? Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 41.
It's funny, before you said Tiffany Stratton, that's actually who I had.
Really?
But I didn't have the whole heel versus face aspect and for the title. I just had them in the singles match. Because I don't know what the fuck they're doing with this briefcase. So I have no confidence of like either her being champion at that moment then or whatever the case may be. Because even they don't know what the fuck they want to do with that.
She's cashing in on the Raw on Netflix. I'm convinced everything big in WWE right now is culminating at the Raw on Netflix.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah. It could happen. But it's yeah, I do see Tiffany versus Charlotte. If it's for the title, I don't know yet.
That is fair. Talking about a woman on the Monday Night Raw roster, PW Insider has an update on Zelina Vega following her loss on Monday's Raw. She competed in the Women's Intercontinental Championship tournament facing Lyra Valkyria and Ivy Now. People in attendance noted that Vega was seemingly waving goodbye to the live audience after her match. According to PW Insider's report, Zelina Vega is still under contract with WWE for several more years. So whatever the wave was that fans are referencing, she doesn't appear to be leaving WWE at the moment. It's noted that Vega's loss and early elimination in the match sparked a significant reaction, along with #PushZelina trending on X.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goddamn, Josh, why do you shit on these people?
Right.
Oh, you guys heard me? Oh shit.
Yeah, we heard you. Boy.
Nigga, we heard you.
Right.
You ain't lying.
Oops.
He did that on purpose. He ain't fooling nobody.
I know. That's why I'm moving on. WWE star, like we previously talked about, Bronson Reed, it got the injury in the men's War Games matchup at WWE Survivor Series. The injury requires surgery. Dave Meltzer reported an update on Bronson Reed on Tuesday's Wrestling Observer Radio. Reed is rumored to be out past WrestleMania 41 in April 2025. According to Meltzer, he was informed by someone within WWE that Reed won't be back in time for the premium live event. He stated, Bronson Reed is having foot surgery. He's going to be out for months. Yeah, a long time. I was told after you, Alvarez, had messaged me and that I asked somebody there and they said he's not expected to be back for WrestleMania. It's expected to be a long time. Additionally, a PW Insider reports that Reed is now in Alabama for his surgical procedure on his broken foot. PW Insider notes that there is currently no timetable for when Reed will be able to return to the ring. He commented on his status on Tuesday on X, saying, I believe that in this business, you have to keep evolving. This is just another time to do so. Your outlook on situations can make or break you. My spirit is unbreakable. And then he posted a photo from after the surgery saying, on the road to fuck shit up. So
that's right.
Everyone here at THH, sending love, our prayers to Bronson Reed that he has a quick and healthy recovery. Any thoughts?
I mean, it's just unfortunate.
No, it's unfortunate.
Terrible timing.
Yeah, it sucks. I hope.
Really sad.
He's gonna be all right. I hope he's gonna be all right, and he comes back to a big push like he was in.
Yes, like they did. Just put a pause on it. Put a pin in it.
Yeah. The Wrestling Observer newsletter has details of what will happen to the WWE archives when the company moves to Netflix in January, especially with the WWE Network shutting down outside the U.S. Next on Netflix noted that there will be some archives content on Netflix in international markets, but nowhere near what was on the network or what Peacock has in the U.S. This won't be a problem in the United States until the 2026 when WWE's deal with Peacock expires. It's not guaranteed that the archival content will move to Netflix at that time, as well as PAs. However, Netflix would be the favorite as they have the rights outside the U.S. Netflix will upload 41 pay-per-view events on January 1st, but they will be the only pay-per-view events that Netflix has. The shows enlisted, which doesn't include years, include Bad Blood, Battleground, Bragging Rights, Breaking Point, Capital Carnage, Capital Punishment, Clash at the Castle, Clash of Champions, Crown Jewel, Cyber Sunday, Day One, December to Dismember, Elimination Chamber, Evolution, Extreme Rules, Fastlane, Fully Loaded, Hell in a Cell, In Your House, Invasion, Judgment Day, King of the Ring, New Year's Revolution, No Mercy, the UK version, No Mercy, the US version, No Way Out, One Night Only, Over the Edge, Over the Limit, Payback, Rebellion, Rock Bottom, Royal Rumble, St. Valentine's Day Massacre, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Taboo Tuesday, The Bash, the Wrestling Classic, This Tuesday in Texas, and WrestleMania. There will be multiple WrestleManias and Rumbles uploaded. There will also be old episodes of NXT, Raw, and SmackDown with new episodes airing live. It's unknown if that applies to dates when WWE tapes multiple episodes at once. On February 7th, Netflix will upload 6 more pay-per-views: Armageddon, Great American Bash, Insurrection, Night of Champions, Stomping Grounds, and Vengeance. And on March 21st, they will add Breakdown, Great Balls of Fire, Greatest Royal Rumble, One Night Stand, Roadblock End of the Line, Super Showdown, TLC, and Unforgiven. We're all screwed outside. We're all screwed when Peacock is done in the U.S. We're all screwed. That's what I heard. We're all screwed in the outside of the U.S. I'm going back to the U.K. in 2025. I'm not going to have any of the old content on WWE Network.
So once Peacock is where are we going to get our information, our stuff from? Netflix?
Well, if Peacock renews it, yeah, if Peacock renews it, then they're fine. But if Netflix takes it, then that's going to be a process.
A lot of people don't really like Peacock, so
This is true. This is also true. Also,
I don't
good.
know what I hate.
I mean,
that.
I don't like it, but I mean, I use it. I basically only use it for the WWE stuff.
Yeah. Oh well, no, I don't use it just for
No,
that.
I use it for traders. Traders is my new addiction. That's my new.
I mean,
Oh, you watch
try to use it.
Traders?
I
you
try
watch
to use it
Traders?
for other stuff, but I just be forgetting. Like I just be forgetting.
US or you watch the other versions?
I watched the US one. I've watched some of the other one.
Okay, I've now completed the US, UK, and Australia.
What?
I'm
Even the
moving
celebrity
on.
ones?
Well, they only have I think they have 2 seasons of each of those.
Right.
The
well, yeah,
US
they had
one, the US one is really like a celebrity one, really.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
who's
Which
your
is really good.
favorite
That's what put me
trader?
on.
Who's your favorite trader from the US one?
It was Phaedra, because Phaedra was good.
I mean, Phaedra was serving. She was serving, but she didn't have the strategical game. That's
Correct,
why my
exactly.
favorite is what's her name? Siri
Siri-
from Siri Fields.
Yes.
Yo, that was a masterclass. Oh my god. She had these niggas hook, line, and sinker, and the only other trader literally quit instead of not even voting. He quit. That's how much she manipulated these motherfuckers to a T. She is the GOAT trader of all the trade. I've watched all the US, UK, and Australia. She's the best one.
She's the best one.
Respect, Siri. But yes, watch Traders. It's good stuff. We might do a podcast.
But yeah, I watch Peacock not just for that stuff. So you know.
Yeah, I watch Traders and House of Villains is the main things I watch.
House of Villains. I'm still trying to catch up on this season. Oh my god.
you have you watched any of this season?
Yes, I have. Oh man.
Wes is amazing. Oh my god.
He is though.
He needs to be on this show every season now. Like Wes is amazing. He has a plan for another plan.
You thought New York was bad? Nah. You got look at Wes. Wes is like strategic of all of it on. They like soak all of that shit up.
Yeah, he's so good.
He's so good. He
at
can never catch a break. I swear.
I mean, Safari is a goofball. He is
a goofball. Like you can't take him like he's like Jimmy, Big Jim. He's the same way. You can't take him serious anymore.
Moving on to finish it up with WWE, we had WWE NXT Deadline last Saturday, y'all. The show featured Oba Femi, doom, 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 doom. Gonna do my dance, doom, doom. Making his return to defeat the Wesley, Nathan Frazier, Ethan Page, and Javon Evans in an awesome men's Iron Survivor matchup. You also had Frazier went on to team with Axiom as Fraxium to retain the NXT Tag Team Championships over No Quarter Catch Cruz to Tavon Heights and Miles Bourne in a tremendous tag team bout. Felt like a star-making performance for the NQCC. You had Lola Vice outlasted Jada Parker in an NXT Underground matchup. Trick Williams defeated Rich Holland to retain the NXT Championship, while Julia picked up the big win, beating Zaria, Sol Ruka, Ren Sinclair, and Stephanie Becker in a terrific Women's Iron Survivor main event. WWE NXT this week, they did 680,000 viewers. The show featured Oba Femi going face-to-face with Trick Williams ahead of their NXT Championship matchup at New Year's Evil on January 7th. However, Trick may not be the champion because Eddie Thorpe interrupted to accuse Oba of attacking him last week and then accusing Trick for not standing up for what's right. This led to Williams accepting a challenge for the NXT Championship from Thorpe. After the contract for the contest was signed, Eddie revealed to NXT GM Ava that he was the one behind his attack to get his title match an easier way than the Iron Survivor, which made him look like the smartest man in the room.
Wait, so that's what I missed on that, because I was like, what did I miss? So he was the one that he faked his attack.
He faked his attack because he didn't want to go through the Iron Survivor.
Genius
shit. I was like, man, y'all saved this character in one night. That was amazing. Javon Evans once again picked up a win over Wes Lee in a super fun opener.
Black Panther with the wings that was on his feet.
I'm done. Namor. Yep. Tony D'Angelo beat Ethan Page to retain the NXT North American Championship. Later in the show, Paige teased potentially leaving NXT after his recent losses. Fatal Influence defeated Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley. Post-match, Fatal Influence jumped the baby faces until Shotzi returned to make the save. Julie.
Never mind. She was.
Now I was glad to see Shotzi back.
I was happy to see her back, but she did the whole like she wasn't hitting anyone. She was just like it was just.
Oh yeah.
It was terrible. It was great to see her back though. So excited, but I was like, okay, if you're gonna, all right, never mind. I'm not gonna talk.
She's like, throw those punches, girl. Lay it in, girl.
Yeah, lay them at least like touch my face. Like you don't have to hit me hard, but like, girl. Anywho, sorry.
Julia kicked off the show after becoming the Women's Iron Survivor, but was interrupted by NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez ahead of their title bout at New Year's Evil. This led to Cora Jade coming out to reveal she attacked Stephanie Vaquer backstage. However, Kalani Jordan made the save for Julia. Later in the show, Cora and Roxanne defeated Kalani and Julia in a good main event. Post-match, Stephanie Vaquer made a return to go after Cora Jade, who escaped from the ring before Stephanie Vaquer got her revenge. So good show for NXT. NXT Deadline, I thought was arguably one of the better NXT events of the year. I think it's between that and Heat Wave. I thought Heat Wave was one of the best WWE Premium Live events of the year. NXT Deadline was a close second for me. Any thoughts on Deadline, y'all?
It was good. I watched it after I came back from, my trip, but it's actually a really good show. I saw like all the highlights and whatnot. Again, I think this week's episode of NXT was good too. It was pretty decent. It was really good.
It was good follow-up.
Good follow-up. Yeah, exactly. And then like the whole thing with like Trick coming back. And then Homeboy, like you just said, he just did the whole thing. And you like, that's what I'm saying. He reminds me of the guy from Black Panther. And I'm like, what is his character? Like, who is he? But he just like you say, he saved his like whole self because he made that shit all up. I was like, yo, that's freaking awesome. Like that's genius.
Brilliant move. My man Carl Fredericks, smartest man in the room. Love it. We got Myron Kidd who says, absolutely. Myron Kidd who says Tavon Heights showed out. Like I said, I thought it was a star-making performance for NQCC, even though Miles Bourne got RKO chance. Because he looks too much like Randy Orton. We also got Power Driver Finisher says it was a great NXT PLE and the ladies delivered. The ladies are carrying over on NXT. We've said this for months. Always carrying. As previously reported, this is going out of WWE a bit, so we are moving on. But as previously reported, season 6 of Vice TV's Dark Side of the Ring will premiere, Chrissy, March 25th.
We're back.
No official topics have been announced as of this time. We got he said will premiere. No official topics have been announced. Slam Wrestling had a tentative list of what the possible subjects could be based on clues through their context. They include superstar Billy Graham, Andrew Tess Martin, Eddie Gilbert, Daphne, Billy Jack Hayes, Vader, Ludwig Borga, and Hell in a Cell. Mark Henry previously noted that he worked on an episode about Tony Atlas as well. The Wrestling Observer newsletter confirms that several of these have been planned. Meanwhile, Jim Ross has said that he did interviews for an episode about Mick Foley.
What? Mick
Are
Foley
you
gonna
excited?
Dark Side of the Ring?
I'm with it. There's a lot to discuss for Mick Foley. It's more of a friendlier side of the ring, but they've been doing more friendlier stories because they've been.
I guess that it's not that much dark side, to get through because most of the other guys are mostly all dead, and we've covered them already. The bad ones.
Yeah. It's season 6. We're coming up on the end of this series because there's not even though wrestling has endless dark stories that they can get into. I don't know if they have enough creativity and production to do it.
True.
What do you think, Josh, about Darkseid coming back?
A little surprised. I didn't expect it to come back, especially with all the stuff that was going on with Vice itself. right? Because I think they filed for bankruptcy not so long ago.
Right, you're right. I forgot all about that.
Vice? No way. For real? Damn.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
You know,
though.
once Desus and Mero left, this network kind of went downhill anyway. So, and then you
Nah,
lost
so, like,
you lost
yeah,
Desus
so,
and
like,
Mero, and you lost the show with what's the cooking show with Homeboy? Damn. He does Hook song. Damn it. What the fuck is the song?
Action Bronson.
Action Bronson. Once you lost those two shows, because that was the network, you lost them. I'm just saying, for me at least.
It's true. It's true.
That's
Good
what I
point.
watched for. But yeah.
How about you for Dark Side of the Ring? That's about
that too. Those
I
three
mean, you know, like, but I mean, it could be interesting. I know Billy Graham because his story is very complicated. So I think that one's interesting because I know about Billy Graham. Like I know about like his I know he had some type of issue. I don't know what was substance abuse, but I know like he was like I know his kidneys were like in terrible shape. I remember they were talking about it. Just stuff like that. So I mean, it's interesting, and having Mick Foley on, most likely that's probably for the Hell in the Cell stuff. So I mean, it's interesting. You're not gonna get Undertaker, but Mick Foley's fine.
Mick Foley is a good person to have instead. New Japan Pro Wrestling. We head over to Japan. They had the finals of the World Tag League. The show featured Los Ingobernables de Japón, represented by Tetsuya Naito and Hiromu Takahashi, beating Gabe Kidd and Sonata of the Bullet Club War Dogs in a great main event to win the World Tag League 2024 final. Post-match, though, they are not going after the IWGP World Tag Team Championships. Instead, Naito challenged Hiromu to go one-on-one. The dream match Hiromu has been wanting ever since 2020 when the match was canceled due to COVID. Now he gets it in the Tokyo Dome, the semi-main event of Wrestle Kingdom 19. So a big-time matchup, the biggest of Hiromu's career, coming up on January 4th. So congratulations to Los Ingobernables de Japón winning World Tag League. But the real reason why they couldn't go for the IWGP World Tag Team Championships is because they are now vacated. New Japan Pro Wrestling has announced that the IWGP Tag Team title match that was scheduled for NJPW AEW's Wrestle Dynasty has now been changed. Originally, Great Okan and Hanare were set to defend against the Young Bucks. However, Hanare recently suffered an injury and the belts were vacated. The match will now feature Khan and a mystery partner against the Bucks for the vacant titles. The event happens on January 5th at the Tokyo Dome, has a lineup of that Great Okan and his mystery partner versus the Young Bucks for the never openweight championship. Shingo Takagi or Konosuke Takeshita will defend against Tomohiro Ishii. International Women's Cup four-way matchup. Stardom and CMLL still have to announce their representatives, but representing ROH is Athena. Representing AEW will be either Willow Nightingale or Jamie Hayter. Zack Sabre Jr. will go one-on-one with Ricochet. Kenny Omega goes one-on-one with Gabe Kidd. Yota Tsuji goes one-on-one with Scapegoat Jack Perry, while Shota Umino goes one-on-one with the Death Riders. January 5th.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Shota Umino goes one-on-one with the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli, and David Finlay goes one-on-one with the House of Blacks, Brody King. So,
damn.
Very much looking
get
forward.
Another L out here on these streets, yo.
Probably will. He probably will. But only make them popular. Only make them more popular.
That's kind of a stacked show.
It is. That's why I was like, when is this show?
Wow.
And we got to watch it on New Japan's thing, or
New Japan site. It's Wrestle King. It's Wrestle Kingdom weekend. You know the deal. That's the one time a year most wrestling fans that don't watch New Japan like me, because I'm a sicko, they wake up early to watch New Japan live, like I do. So January 4th.
That's the one we got to wake up in the middle of the night, right?
Yes. So I will say for January 5th, for that weekend, I'm going to say now, warning y'all, probably do Tru Heel Heat on that Sunday, because I feel like it'll probably be too much. January 5th.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
We'll do Tru Heel Heat on that Sunday instead of Saturday. Saturday, we'll probably do a post show for Wrestle Kingdom. we'll do a post show. So I'll call up Jay News. Maybe we'll have somebody from Tru Heel Heat. Somebody want to step up and fill in for Sanal, who's going to be in Japan for the show. So we'll talk some Wrestle Kingdom then. We'll do Tru Heel Heat on Sunday, and then Monday we'll do Wrestle Dynasty review.
That's the one we've seen. Kenny Omega and
Gabe Kidd.
Yeah.
At Wrestle Dynasty. Yep.
No, I'm saying that's the one we woke up in the middle. We had to wake up at like 2 a.m. and watch it, but the fight didn't happen till like maybe like 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Yeah. Kenny Omega.
That was half sleep. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. That's the one. Okay.
TNA Impact this week. The show featured Nick Nemeth, Joe Hendry, and Masha Slamovich defeating Tasha Steelz and First Class in the main event. But post-match, it was AJ Francis who laid out Nick Nemeth to stand tall ahead of Final Resolution. Moose picked up a victory. Moose picked up a victory. Go ahead.
I said that man got fired, and now look at him.
I mean, he's still not very good.
I mean, listen, he's not, but
and very delusional. Well, we'll get to that.
Okay, fine. Go ahead. Well,
we also had Moose pick up a victory over Diener to retain the TNA X Division Championship in the opener. The Rascals defeated Leon Sater and Laredo Kid in a fun matchup as Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz aimed to go after the Hardys World Tag Team Championships. Final Resolution was last night in Atlanta, Georgia. The show featured Joe Hendry defeating Josh Alexander, Steve Macklin, and Mike Santana in an awesome 4-way to become the #1 contender for the TNA World title at Genesis in January, while Nick Nemeth beat AJ Francis to retain the TNA World Championship. Post-match, First Class jumped Nemeth until Joe Hendry made the save to close the show, staring down with the TNA World Champion. The Hardys picked up the win, beating the System in a tables match to retain the TNA World Tag Team Championships. Masha Slamovich retained the TNA Knockouts World Championship in a Falls Count Anywhere match, while Moose beat Kushida to retain the X Division Championship. And then finally, it was Jordan Grace and Rosemary that went to a no contest after Chrissy Love's favorite professional wrestler, Tessa Blanchard, made her highly anticipated return to TNA Wrestling. She attacked the referee, attacked Jordan Grace with the mask on, and then revealed that she was back in TNA. Chrissy Love, what are your thoughts on the return of Tessa Blanchard to TNA?
That's my stuff right there. I'm not going to give any more information or any type of shine to this person because I really don't give a shit about her. So I won't speak on her. I know my feelings. You guys all know my feelings. I'm not going to give you a rant because no need for one. You already know I'm going to keep the same energy. So if they want to be associated with fuckboys, go right ahead. Fuck yourselves. Thank you.
Well, to provide more details for everyone else, a former champion is set to return to TNA Wrestling, was the report we read on Friday morning. PW Insider, as well as the Wrestling Observer newsletter, reported that former TNA Knockouts World Champion and TNA World Champion Tessa Blanchard signed a new deal with TNA Wrestling and was flown into Atlanta last night to take part of the Final Resolution show, as well as their TV taping tonight. It's believed that Blanchard will work with Jordan Grace starting out, but that isn't confirmed. Grace is was set to face Rosemary at the show, and of course, that did come to fruition. There had been talks about bringing Blanchard back months ago, 4 years after she was let go by Impact Wrestling in 2020. Blanchard's contract expired heading into Slammiversary 2020. She was living in Mexico at the time during the COVID-19 pandemic. TNA thought they could extend her contract to add time when she was away from the company in order to get her back to drop the world title. Negotiations stalled and Blanchard didn't send in promos for TV, so TNA stripped her of the title and refused to bring her back. However, that was when Scott D'Amore was in charge, and TNA has new management now. Fightful Select had more details on Tessa Blanchard's return to TNA. Talent in AEW, WWE, and TNA said that they were in disbelief that TNA would be willing to hire Blanchard back. The news was kept away from the TNA roster, as well as many staff members who would usually be in the know. This was done due to fear of backlash. There was some in the company that are still friends with Blanchard, but one person said that TNA is hoping there's enough new talent on the roster that isn't as familiar with her past and willing to work with her. Another source suggested that Blanchard will be on her best behavior during this run. TNA has been planning to bring Blanchard back for at least 2 weeks, with a top person in Anthem making the decision. That person was said to be warned against by others in the company. Anthem president Carlos Silva, who has just joined the company this week, was not the person behind this decision. It is believed that Blanchard will return as a heel. There were plans to have her work. There was plans to have her work with Jordynne Grace, but Grace reportedly, quote unquote, pushed back against that idea. However, it did go to fruition. One source suggested that TNA was trying to bring in new talent, and they expected to lose Speedball Mike Bailey, Jordynne Grace, and Josh Alexander at the end of 2024. Josh, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on Tessa Blanchard's return to TNA?
All I would say is, if I was somebody who was on the way out and I had to job to Tessa Blanchard, I'd rather get shot than lose to Tessa Blanchard. That's how far I will go with that, because I don't know what the fuck they're thinking bringing her back.
I agree.
And again, you know, like, I've had positive experiences with Tessa myself, but given the circumstances of what happened, what occurred, and how she handled it, you know, I can't really give a pass on that. You know, that's something I spoke about earlier. You know, and like I said, anybody who's willing to take accountability for things, you know, that's where it is for me. I'm always very big on accountability, even when I mess up myself. I could be stubborn at times, but then when I realize, like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that, you know, I usually own up to my mistakes. And to this day, we just haven't seen that from her. And to me, I believe that we're probably just never going to get that. And if she did do that behind closed doors, then it's like, you know, that should be as loud as all the noise you were creating, because you had no problem going on interviews, not owning up to your shit, or dumb not even talking about it. This is just a signing that's very unnecessary. This is something that they really didn't need. And I think this is like TNA, textbook TNA fucking move. Like, they do some dumb shit that doesn't need to be done, and yet they still fucking do it. And your excuse of, oh, talent might not be familiar with what she did, what the fuck? What kind of bullshit is that? That's terrible. Like, what? Like, it's not like it fucking happened 20 years ago. It's literally like 4 years. Like, and you think nobody saw the internet and saw how they stripped her and not have her come back because she held the company hostage off of their title, and nobody's gonna know about that? You must be out of your fucking mind. Again, it's such an unnecessary move. It doesn't need to happen. I get it, because there are people leaving. At the same time, it was like, you know, the free agent market is very thin when it comes to TNA. They really don't have many options. So in a sense, I kind of get that aspect, because you basically have 4 people leaving next year. Jordan's leaving. That's very obvious. She's leaving to WWE.
Yeah, that's what the report by Wrestling Observer Newsletter confirmed, that this is her final program before she leaves for WWE.
Yeah, and you know, and even her, you know, that was reported too, that she was very hesitant. She's like, what the fuck? You know, and for somebody who's been as loyal as Jordynne Grace, I wouldn't want her to be in a position like that. I'd rather have her job out to somebody else. Like, fuck it, give me Masha again. I don't care. I wouldn't do it if I was in her position.
She already just did. She just did that turning point.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, and I get it, but it's like, I'm like, I was like, you guys gonna have to shoot me, because I ain't gonna do it. Because because I think I heard too, like Mike Bailey, him too, like apparently he didn't want to job to Trent Seven. That's the word I'm hearing about. He didn't want to do it.
So that's why he left. He left after.
That's why he left abruptly. I saw it somewhere. I don't know if that's 100% confirmed, but that did come out too yesterday.
I'm just gonna go out there and I'm not reporting anything, but I'm gonna say I doubt that.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt it. It doesn't sound believable, but I heard that was one thing that they threw out too. I don't 100% believe it just because Mike Bailey has a good relationship with Trent Seven. So that was kind of far-fetched. I think that was just some fucking hot air for them to try to.
It's just a pile on. This is what happens. It always happens. Like it's piling on.
They're trying. Is either that or just some smoke to try to get off the Tessa stuff. But then her just showing up, it was kind of like, oh. Like even the crowd reaction, it wasn't like really a good reaction, right? There's a difference between you get like you're getting booed out of the building and getting heat. This one was kind of like people didn't know how to react, and you hear like boos, but then people are just like oh.
Yeah, it was like a hush, and then it's like boo.
Yeah, and it
wasn't
wasn't
like we don't want this kind of boo.
Yeah, and that's not good. And I'm like, again, TNA was on their own hot streak. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, they were selling out their shows, right? And you could kind of like when you go like the nitty gritty when it comes to like their shows doing great. It's it's good for what they've been doing. But I'm like, guys, you didn't need to do this. And hopefully it doesn't affect them, but after last night and they're seeing the reaction, it's not looking good for them. Because there was a lot of people that legit have said, oh, yeah, I'm not watching TNA. Like, they were watching it, and then now after last night, they're like, fuck this. I'm not dealing with this.
Will Chisholm says they would have Tessa have a program with a woman that married to a black man. Thanks for all you've done for us, Jordan. We also have Call Me Mr. Bonda, who sends a super chat donation. Thank you, Mr. Bonda. Always showing us some love here. He says, I'll be the happiest man in the world when Frankie Kazarian screws Hendry for the TNA World Championship. You're still a bum, Joe. God damn, Mr. Bonda. I love your hatred, though. It's good. It's good. It's good. This is the place where you need to express these things. Thank you, Mr. Bonda. Finally, with TNA, Rhino's time in TNA is coming to an end. He announced that he will be finishing up with TNA Wrestling on Facebook on Friday. He said his last match will be tonight's Final Resolution post-taping against Ryan Nemeth. He said, tomorrow is my last day with TNA Wrestling. I am wrestling Ryan Nemeth. It will most likely be the last time ever I will be wrestling in a TNA ring. If you make it to Center Stage in Atlanta, come and be part of this 5-year chapter of my life and our journey. Thank you to all of the amazing wrestling fans for your support. I'm not done wrestling, but TNA and I have parted ways. Then you got another star of TNA past who is coming back, maybe, or was at least backstage, AJ Styles. Fightful Select's Sean Ross Staff reported that TNA legend and former WWE champion AJ Styles was backstage at last night's TNA Final Resolution. The report noted that he was just there hanging out and would not be involved in the show. Also, Fightful notes that he appeared in good spirits and wasn't in a cast, brace, or crutches. He suffered an injury on SmackDown this past fall. My question to you before we finish up with what we missed, AJ Styles in TNA in 2025, from 0 to 100, how likely is this to happen? Chrissy Love, give us a number.
I'm saying 4. Well, 5, because didn't he just sign his contract with his people?
Yeah, but TNA and WWE are in a relationship.
That is true. Okay, so I'll give it a 6 then.
0 to 100? You're giving it 6%?
0 to 100. Sorry, I didn't mean out of 10. Sorry. 10, 75%.
I'm going 90%.
Okay.
I'm going to the high end. 90% sure. Josh?
I'm gonna be the very low man on this. I'm going 20%.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair as well. But we finally have made it to Chrissy Love's favorite time of the show, best and worst of the week, match of the week as well. First up for best of the week, Chrissy Love, what do you think had the best week this week?
Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green. That's a good shout, Josh.
Especially with tonight, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Chelsea Green.
Okay.
A great win, and then I think she's the right person to win the title. She could be very obnoxious with the U.S. title. It was a perfect way to do it.
Perfect.
I'm gonna go first time co-best of the week for Oba Femi making his return, becoming the Iron Survivor. He's gonna be the next NXT champion, and Eddie Thorpe for fucking saving his goddamn character with that explanation on NXT.
Okay.
Worst of the week, I am going to go with another this is the week for co's. Worst of the week, Tony Khan and Rey Fenix.
I was gonna say the same thing. I was gonna say Rey Fenix. Okay. And Tony, yeah, I got a Rey Fenix and no, Tony Khan too. He deserves it. Like, cause he was, both of them deserve. Okay, I got a code. Yeah.
Worst of the week, Josh?
Oh, Rey Fenix.
Oh, and Tessa Blanchard.
Oh yeah, Tessa. Oh yeah, Tessa. Three-way. Tony Khan, Tessa. No, Tony Khan, TNA, and Rey Fenix.
Whichever one you want to do, friend.
I'll say TNA more because they're allowing it to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I can't give it to Tessa yet. Yet is the key word. And then we got matches of the week. Another busy week in pro wrestling. So I'm gonna run down probably my.
You 10. Got 10.
Do I have 10? Do I have 10? Yep, I got 10. Number 10. Mariah May versus Mina Shirakawa from AEW Dynamite Winter is coming. Number 9, Los Ingonables de Japón versus Bullet Club War Dogs from World Tag League Final. Number 8, Ricochet versus Brody King from Dynamite Winter is coming. Number 7, Men's Iron Survivor from NXT Deadline. Number 6, Will Ospreay versus Claudio Castagnoli from Dynamite Winter is coming. Number 5, Darby Allin versus Commander from Collision. That was fabulous. Number 4, Okada versus Fletcher from Collision. The Proto Star shot. I saw that in the chat. Good shot. Mark Briscoe versus Daniel Garcia. Number 3. That was great stuff in the main event of Collision last week. Number 2, Fraxium versus No Quarter Catch Crew from NXT Deadline. And number 1, the Women's Iron Survivor from NXT Deadline. Chrissy?
I got 5. Men's Iron Survivor, number 5. Number 4, Brody versus Ricochet. Correct?
Yep.
Number 3 is Claudio Castagnoli and my boo, Will Ospreay. Number 2, I would give it to damn it, it was another yes, Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita. Okada. Yes, Okada, sorry. And then number 1 is the Women's Iron Survivor.
Josh, who you got this week?
Number 3, I got Mark Briscoe versus Daniel Garcia. That was a really fun matchup.
That was good
number
too. Yes.
2, I got number 2. I got Fletcher versus Okada, and number 1, I got the Women's Iron Survivor match at Deadline.
Unanimous choice for the match of the week this week, Women's Iron Survivor.
Right.
But that and a bunch of women looked good.
It made them look
Stephanie
really
didn't
good.
take a pin. I think she was the only one that didn't take a pin.
Yeah.
She didn't win, but then she didn't take a pin, so it makes her look strong at the end.
And she came close to winning. At the end. But we got some big shows this weekend as well. WWE Saturday night's main event tonight on NBC and the Peacock. We got 5 matches to give rapid fire final predictions for us here. First up, we got the United States Championship for the Women's United States Championship. Inaugural champion being crowned. Chelsea Green, Meechin, Chrissy Love. Let them know.
Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green. I'm calling Chelsea. our inaugural champion? Josh?
Chelsea. I think she wins.
Drew McIntyre will look to right or wrong as he goes one-on-one with Sami Zayn. Josh?
Drew, we're going to whip Sammy's ass.
Yes, he is.
So you're in agreement, Chrissy?
Yes, I am.
Unanimous. Drew McIntyre for the win. Gunther will defend the World Heavyweight Championship in a triple threat against Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Chrissy?
Gunther. He's pinning my
Josh.
booth in.
Gunther retains. I'm not taking this shit serious.
Gunther wins. He pins Balor. Then we got for the WWE Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan defends against Io Sky. Chrissy, who you got?
This match is going to be terrible, I feel like. But Liv is going to win.
Josh?
Liv is winning, unfortunately.
I'm going with the right choice. Io Sky. Not the right choice that I'm going to be right, but the right choice in that we need this goddamn title off of Liv Morgan. So I'm going with Io Sky.
No, I agree with that.
I agree with that. I just don't think they're going to do it.
I know.
If Io wins, it's going to be because of DQ. That's the only reason that she would win. But she's not losing that title. I'm sorry.
DQ's going to be a Jeff Jarrett booking. Watch. It's going to be Jeff Jarrett.
You know what?
It's a Jeff Jarrett booking. That's what's going to happen.
And then finally, undisputed WWE Championship up for grabs. Cody Rhodes defends against Kevin Owens. Josh?
Cody is winning. Cody's winning.
Chrissy?
Cody's winning, even though I feel like Kevin should win, though.
That is fair. That is fair. I would love it. I would love to see it. I'll be cheering with everybody else if Kevin Owens wins tonight. Just don't see it, unfortunately.
Especially if he has that title, he's not losing that title tonight because he's going to borrow it.
So fair, bold for picking KO, both of you. Wrong choice, but very bold.
I mean, I didn't pick him. I'm just saying.
In the chat. Someone in the chat.
Yeah.
People saying KO.
Okay.
Very, very bold of you guys because that's just not happening. And it's not because I'm a Cody fan. It's because I know how WWE business is, and they're not taking the title off of him anytime soon.
And then tomorrow night, we got NJPW Strong Style Evolve, the final U.S. show for New Japan Pro Wrestling of 2024. We'll only predict the top matches, the title matches on this card. We got the pre-show, Strong Survivor, Matt Vandergriff versus Zane J. We also got Mina Shirakawa will be on this show against Johnny Robbie. Then we got for the NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships, the Grizzled Young Veterans versus West Coast Wrecking Crew. Who you got, Chrissy?
Grizzly Young Vets.
Josh?
Grizzly Young Vets.
Grizzly Young Vets for the win as well. Shout outs to those guys. Those guys were awesome talking to them. Then we got a preview for Wrestle Kingdom. It's going to be Clark Connors representing the Bullet Club War Dogs, Kushida representing the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Jet Setters, Kosei Fujita representing the Ichiban Sweet Boys, and TJB representing Catch 2-2. Who gets the win in this four-way preview for Wrestle Kingdom? Josh?
I'll go with Kushida.
Chrissy?
Why does he still look like the dude from Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future?
That's
why. Yeah, that's why.
That's supposed to be this gimmick? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay. Kushida.
I'm going with Clark Connors for the win.
That's not a bad pick. That's not a bad pick either.
Leo Rush goes one-on-one with CMLL's own Hechicero. I got Leo Rush for the win. Chrissy?
I would say Leo Rush has been given some killer matches. This since he's came back, he's been awesome.
So you're going with Leo?
Josh? Yeah, I'm going with Leo. Yes.
Leo.
Then we got United Empire represented by Templario and Jacob Austin Young versus Los Ingonables de Japón Titan and Hiromu Takahashi. And then we got the final four matches here for the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship. Gabe Kidd defends against Roye Uyoa of TMDK. I got Gabe Kidd retaining. Chrissy?
Gabe Kidd retains.
Josh?
Gabe Kidd retains.
6-man tag team action. TMDK represented by IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Zack Sabre Jr. teams with Shane Hayes and Bad Dude Tito to verse Sabre Jr.'s Wrestle Kingdom opponent Shota Umino and Dirty Work Fred Rosser and Tom Lawler. I'm going with the Dirty Shooters for the win. Josh?
Same, Dirty Shooter. That's a funny ass name.
That's only,
That's so wrong. That's so wrong for so many ways.
Dirty
Shooters. Is that Zack Sabre Jr.'s team?
No, Zack Sabre Jr. is TMDK.
Oh, okay, so yeah, the one with the cooler name. So the other guys with the black dude.
That's Darren Young.
I know.
We got tag team action. Shingo Takagi teaming up with his Los Ingonables de Japón tag team partner Yota Tsuji to verse their Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty opponents, Team AEW International Champion Konosuke Takeshita and Jack Perry. I'm going with Team AEW. Chrissy?
Same. Team AEW is not gonna lose.
Josh?
Oh, this is a good one. I'm gonna go with Team New Japan to be a little bit different.
Okay.
And then finally, the main event: Mercedes Moné defends the NJPW Strong Women's Championship against Hazuki. This should be a great matchup, but I got Mercedes getting the win. Chrissy?
Mercedes.
Josh?
I got Mercedes winning.
And there you have it. Of course, as always, you know what we do here at Tru Heel Heat. We'll have reviews for both WWE Saturday night's main event. That will be tomorrow. I will give you the live perspective being there in the Nassau Coliseum. And we got NJPW Strong Style Evolve review on Monday. I want to thank Chrissy, Josh, for joining me on this Saturday. Appreciate y'all. Miss Chrissy Love, the floor is yours. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media.
Hey guys, you can follow me, Chrissy Love _1 or Tru Heel Chrissy Love on X, or you can just, follow just my plain old name. Other than that, you can find me in SP. We do our usual recaps of shows. So looks like we're going to be doing the Trader, probably soon. And something else we're going to figure out. But watch our other episodes on our other channel. We did The Bear. We did Agatha Goes all the Way. We've done The Penguin. So go and watch our reviews of those shows. So if you have something that you want us to watch and review, give it to us and we will sit down and schedule it and figure it out. Right, SP?
Indeed.
Other than that, that's it. Thank you. We'll see you all next week.
Josh, the floor is yours.
You can follow me, JMPunk321, Twitter and Instagram. I'll be back next week. And yeah, let's see what some fuckery comes out from AEW this week. I know there's gonna be something. Somebody's gonna find something some way, somehow. So we'll be talking about it.
And we are just 2 weeks away from our Tru Heel Heat year-end awards. We've already started taking votes within our contributors, our team. We've also been putting out polls over at patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. That's the best place to support us when we are not live here. And you'll have the first crack at placing a vote for our year-end awards. We got our polls for the men's and women's wrestlers of the year. We'll have polls for tag team of the year, as well as worst match of the year coming up this weekend. We'll also be taking votes on feud of the year, major show of the year. We'll be doing women's match of the year, tag team tag team match of the year, women's match of the year. So we'll have a lot of awards to do in 2 weeks' time. December 28th, our 8th annual Tru Heel Heat year-end awards. Wow, 8th annual.
Wow.
Love that. Love the number 8. But yes, follow me on the Twitter machine at Tru Heel SB3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Tru Heel Heat. I will be back live here tomorrow. I want to say 12:05 p.m. Eastern time. I know the True Draw Josh is not joining me for that one, so I will have a special guest to review Saturday night's main event. So join us live for that. But for Josh, for Miss Chrissy Love, for the Christmas tree, we will see you next time. Last 2 Tru Heel Heats of 2024. But this has been Tru Heel Heat 307. Drama abound, all elite. We are signing off until next time.
Laters.